Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And welcome back Dadwiniyal Fadlan please. Wa nagi wa yagi hadin nafahmi dona hadin na baron dona. Yes, welcome back. And yeah, well, assalamu alaikum to my lovely sister talk therapy. Iwaramulalo.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm good, alhamdulillah. Thank you for having me once again.
It's always a pleasure, sister. Always a pleasure.
And also welcome to the viewers. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to you all, inshallah.
I just want to apologize, running a bit late, got chaotic, but we managed to get there. And yes, sis. The topic tonight is this topic actually let me kind of break it down. Let me give people a synopsis of why we're doing this. Basically, since we do Talk Your Talk Tuesdays, one of the regular segments that we do once a week, every Tuesday. We like to keep it consistent, and during the stream, something interesting happened. Yes, big up Faye, Walashe, big up Ahmed, man like Faz in the building, completely Quran, Salam, IC3, people that are locked in early, everyone on this Salam, please start the word up, please, everyone, please, again, hit up the like button, hit up the subscribe, it goes a long way. So as I was saying, sister, I think you were gone that day. So we were streaming Talk Your Talk Tuesday. So usually we, it's part of our segments. And we had a panelist that came on, and hopefully we're gonna try to break down that video. But just to let everyone else know, I'm gonna let you all know now that video itself, copy strike ban will die. And if you guys don't know what a copy strike is, if people don't believe us, there you go, where it is. Just show everyone. And where is it? There it is. Hope you guys can see. Yeah, that was Talk Your Talk Tuesday, and it was kind of mad, I had a copy strike for time one, innit? Straight after, so that was kind of disappointing because I would have loved to left the stream up there. And let me stop that. So basically, let me not bore you guys anyway. So basically, why we came up with this subject, is to do with a panelist that came on, a young brother that was seeking advice that was half Somali and half something else, and he was asking us, and it was a deep conversation. So what me and sister talk right now, we managed to figure a way to do the stream as honestly as we can. And obviously I thought to myself, the best person to do it, as we've been doing these type of streams, is Walashe Qaliga, because she breaks things down fantastically. So Wallah, again, Sardawo, always a pleasure to have you on the stream. And we're going to leave her link to her channel is always in the description box and in the comment section. So as we were talking, that's what really happens, sister. What do you think about what I've said so far?
Well, firstly, I think it's a very interesting topic, and also Mohammed mentioned that, so I totally agree. I think it'd be really interesting to delve in and to explore maybe some of the dilemmas that people could, maybe inshallah we'll be able to provide a solution or a way for them to navigate, or even to prevent, some things that might occur as this brother complete Quran, yeah.
No, but again, just to disclaimer, me and my sister, it's not anything we promote halal interracial marriages all day long, you get me? As long as it's halal, there's no problem. But this is a dilemma that we feel, as a community, it is, when you're in the foreign countries, this does come up, like sister, scenarios like this. And hopefully what we did, we tried to save the stream. So we're going to play back the stream, do a reaction. You guys comment section. Then later on, as me and sister talk through with these segments, we're gonna open up the link so you guys can come through. But we're gonna go word for word of what took place, so you guys can witness it, and so we all can look at it. Do you get where I'm coming from? So I thought that was the best idea. Me and sister thought we came up with that to say, you know what? Let the audience and us to see. And she herself didn't see the stream. She was like, Khalid, what happened? It got taken down. I didn't even see it. So just to refresh everyone, that little moment, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna actually play I don't know, is it a reaction to a stream? I don't know how we're gonna call it, but
I think
that's the gist.
It sounds like a reaction, and also I think it's even more important to be able to maybe even call it a teachable moment for all of us.
Yes.
Because the person in question, the brother who, and I pray inshallah that he jumps on, because obviously this topic actually got introduced to us through him, subhanallah. So it'd be lovely for him to come and take the credit and
if
maybe
he's
explore
more deeply, and
Yeah.
you know, it is, yeah. Me myself, you know, sometimes even I was looking back at some of it. Do you get where I'm coming from? Yeah, I was like, you know what, I could have said something better. I could have done it. You know what I'm on. Sometimes I might, believe it or not, I am my own harshest critic. Do you get where I'm coming from? Wallah, yeah. So plus it's alive as well. So you know, anything can happen on our life. So we wasn't even expecting that, and so we're gonna let you guys have a gift and let us all sort of we'll break it down together. I think that's the best way. I like. What do you think? Well,
Definitely. I think that's the best way forward because we can all learn something, inshallah.
Definitely. And where is it? Let me bring out the video. Can you guys see
Yes, perfectly.
everything there? Because I can't really see. Okay, and your mic's on, my mic, so you can switch it off. But I'm gonna keep mine on because I can't really see. So let's go.
You get me? Yeah. So yeah, or you could just say peace, like me. Yeah. So peace out, brothers. Yeah.
We're part of the Indian Ocean, so anytime you want to swing by, man, always welcome. Always welcome. And thank you for subscribing, brother, man.
Yeah, man. It's been a pleasure, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, mate. Great.
Yeah.
Assalamu alaikum, brother.
Yes.
Alaikum salam, brother. I've been watching you for a while, and I know you got access. I know you got access to the Somali community and Akhi. But I just wanted to talk about like an issue or something that I haven't really heard from the Somali community. Now, obviously, me, I'm of course like half Somali, half Mauritania.
Huh?
Can you hear me, brother?
Yeah, okay.
You're half Somali? And what you said?
Yeah.
Can you hear me, bro? Yeah, I'm half Somali.
Half Somali, half Mauritanian.
Oh, which one is which?
Yeah. No. So my dad's Mauritanian and my mom's half Somali. Mom's Somali.
Cut this man off now.
No. Sorry. Okay, carry on. What's the question you want to ask, my brother?
Yeah, but yeah. So yeah, my brother. So basically, I'm in a situation where, of course, me basically, I'll just give a bit of a background. So obviously, I grew up on my Somali side. My father passed away when I was younger. So of course, my dakhin and Luqada bis Somali وفهم. So I don't know my other side. You get?
Yeah.
So of course, right now, me growing up, of course, I used to think I was Somali, etc. But I came across, of course, my house, like the culture is like, obviously, I don't have Khabila and I don't really belong nowhere. And I'm going through a bit of like identity crisis because it's kind of hard, bro. Because imagine you grew up with something your whole life, but they're told you're not that. So, to be honest with you, I just wanted to get advice from my brothers and sisters.
For me, your name's Abdurrahman, yeah?
Like
is your name Abdurrahman?
Yeah, it's Abdurrahman, bro.
For me,
yeah, it's Abdurrahman, bro.
Aki, like, look, you're Somali, innit? Don't tell me when I say, I just see you as in Somali, yeah? And عدة كوسا كورتيبات هنا you can't, you're not help who you're born alive, bro. Mihimmat is you're Muslim, bro.
Yeah, of course.
Alhamdulillah, that's the most mihimmat, and that's the best thing. And again, like everyone's saying, Allah Rahman Rahim. But my answer to that is, I'll be honest. For me, I see you as Qaf Somalia, but if we're gonna be real, I don't want to say, toss I don't see. With the whole, I don't have a Qabil thing. There's that. How did that make you feel? Like knowing your whole life and then just finding out. When did you find out? When did you find out? When did you find out you're like, or was it Malugu Shaggy from when you're early? Like, you're in Mauritania.
For me, I found out I was. Yeah. So secondary school days, I'll say, like from when I was like secondary school, around them times.
Yeah. So you bumped into Somalis and everyone's like, what qulamat hai? What is it?
Yeah, all of that. Yeah, Khabib came out like all of that, stuff like that. But it wasn't really a problem.
I had to.
No, but to be honest, I don't know why you find that identity crisis or anything like that. To be honest, you haven't got the burden of living with a Qabil and Qabil name and everything. It's a burden, bro. It's not a pleasure thing, you know.
Sister, you still there? ST?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah. It's kind of weird seeing myself like next to each other. I'm looking this way and I see myself and I'm looking this way. So that's kind of weird. What's your thoughts so far, Walala?
Subhanallah. So the young man, Abdurrahman, firstly, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make his situation easy for him. But clearly, he's looking for some kind of guidance or someone to give them advice, because when someone asks for advice, that's what they're looking for, is guidance. So they're almost lost. I really like the question that you asked him, which was like, how does that make you feel? Because clearly he might be in a state that's distressful for him. Because like he said, all his life he's been living a certain way, and then he realized now he has a whole new complete identity that he wasn't even aware of. With brother
to secondary school, that's a good period, about 13, 12 years.
Yeah, to adolescent. So clearly that's where the disconnect came from my opinion, is that when we don't expose our children to the reality of who they are, there is almost as if now there's a shock of like, oh, so I was lied to about this, and suddenly now there is the the othering that takes place. And for a child, it's very distressful, even going through the pubescence kind of age. So
yes, sister. So imagine this, you're going through that, sorry to interrupt, so you're going through that, sister, and then you actually discover this. It kind of throws you kind of off, like, because you thought to yourself you were the same as your family members, your cousins, all of us. Because again, look, me and you, we're both full Somali, right? Sister, unless you didn't tell us something. Alhamdulillah.
No, alhamdulillah, my both parents are from Somali.
So I haven't stepped in these shoes, but like I said, I've got cousins and other people, other family relatives. So for me, it's like, that was a learning experience. That's why I had to ask that question. How did it make you feel? So when you opened up, so you're saying, do you think like it's because he wasn't exposed from early, it's going to be a shock factor? What's your thoughts on that?
Of course. And I think it's also exactly what he said, just to, use his words verbatim. He said, he has an identity crisis. He's looking for some advice, which is ultimately some guidance. He feels confused, lost. And I think later on as well, he's going to mention that he's confused on a number of occasions. So yeah, of course, is something, who would come on a live to try and, air out some grievances that they have or discrepancies within their life. Firstly, he's talked about something that's very important as well. He said that he's not, this issue or this kind of issue is never really talked about. So he must be feeling quite isolated, where he doesn't feel like he fits or belongs. Even within our own family, we're always searching to belong, and knowing that, he doesn't fully belong. But I think the issue was the parenting, if I'm really honest, because it feels like there wasn't appropriate communication with the young boy, where when he was younger, he was maybe, helped to get connected with his other side. And also he, the other aspects to his personality. Where did he come from? His lineage, his identity. So yeah.
Should carry on with the rest of it.
Can I just say something about brother Yabada said? I think when someone is in a state of distress, I feel like maybe one thing that lesson we can take from all of it is not to disregard or belittle the person's experience, because sometimes when we say no, it shouldn't bother you. What is qabil?
So like, oh, okay, sorry.
Like in that regard, because obviously this person has a problem, and by us saying you shouldn't worry about it, it shouldn't bother you, that clearly says that we're not open to maybe receive some issues that he might be experiencing, or maybe we don't know how to deal with it. So it's easier for us just to say, just deal with it. Is kind of not a good thing, in my opinion.
I sort of trust your opinion as well, as a licensed trained therapist, as a professional therapist as well. Do you think you shouldn't diminish people when they say, well, this is struggling? He's not saying, well, but isn't that like, if you're not skilled enough, like you're a professional skill, would you think a regular person, regular Joe would say that, like, cheer up, chill up, brush it off? Isn't that the way we've been taught as well? As that, do you think, as Somali as well? Because opening up is something new to us as well as a community. I've always said this, that can work. Sometimes you know how it is as Somalia.
Of course, and I think that's maybe some of our issues that we have with ourselves and also internally, because the thing is, when someone tells you that your reality doesn't really warrant the distress or the concerns that you have, what you do is now you dismiss that, because then you feel like there's something wrong with you for feeling this way. And then that's where also we increase in the lack of connection to ourselves. So the identity crisis is all because what we're doing is we're dismissing people's raw feelings. So I think it's for general, none of us are born with certain skills, and we all have to learn. But it all starts with how you treat yourself. And if you don't know, learn. There's so much material out there, subhanallah, that we can all benefit from. Because clearly this young man, he's finding it difficult to self-regulate. So now he's come
When you
to a
mean
state.
self-regulate, what does that mean, Wallah, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, so
Do you want to
self-regulation.
simplify that for me if you don't mind?
Of course. So basically, when we look at from the psychological perspective, we have various components to us, and emotions is a driving force in our life. So when it comes to our emotions, I need to be able to self-regulate or know how to self-regulate. So if I'm upset or distressed, I need to learn how to soothe myself, or how I should communicate and talk to myself in order for me to be able to, calm myself down. Or if it's a certain situation that requires a particular response, I need to be mature enough to know how to respond in a way that is, beneficial for all parties in the situation. So it's really about emotional intelligence, understanding your emotions. How do you deal with them with yourself in a societal kind of social setting? So it's kind of just learning how to regulate yourself.
Okay, definitely, sis. Thank you for breaking that down. Should we carry on again?
Of course.
Let's carry on again, Wallah.
To be honest, I'll tell you the truth.
Brother, but
When we die,
example,
we will be addressed. But today you're being addressed by your dad's surname on earth. But when you're dead, you're going to be addressed by your mama's surname. You're going to be addressed by your mama's name, your mama's qabil, your mama, everything. It makes no difference, to be honest. I'll be honest.
Okay, again, Jazakallah, something came to our attention earlier when we were watching this back. Obviously, to get the stream ready, I had to speak to Sister Talk, and as we usually prep for what we're doing, that bit came up, and Jazakallah for Walashin, and I just wanted to, but then I hope do your research. Thank you. If you go to not usually good at these type of stuff, the ones that, but I have to correct this. Hadith, is it Sahih Bukhari, and it's Hadith number 6177, which kind of debunks that theory. It kind of dismisses that Runtawan accent, and we kind of grew up listening to that. Yes or no, sister?
Of course, because even if we look at from an Islamic
ahead.
perspective, that on the Day of Judgment, we would actually be called by our father's name. So it's our father's lineage. It's not actually our mother.
Okay.
But we've grown up with believing that, because there is a certain element where I think also when we don't maybe have as much knowledge as we should do when it comes to Islam, what we do is we almost glorify the status of the mother, because I hear a lot more of that than I hear of, the etiquettes or the responsibility and accountability that is due to the father, because the lineage is something that's sacred and that's very important. So when it comes to that aspect, I think, of course, 3 times the Prophet ﷺ said, Jannah is under your mother's feet. But ultimately, your allegiance lies with your father, because that's, he is the leader of the house at the end of the day, inshallah. And the problem is, because we're not able to choose maybe the correct leaders as women sometimes, or because maybe, people gravitate, towards each other for a particular reason, we don't look for these red signs. So then there's an issue there as well.
Okay. Well, again, thank you, Jazakallah for you for sharing that information, and hopefully, brother Yabba could look at that, and anyone else can. So again, let me just remind everyone where it is. It's in this is in Hadith Sahih Bukhari, but getting that out was a bit mad. Hadith Sahih Bukhari, number 6177. That's the number. So please go check out, do your own research as well. And again, if me and the sister are wrong, please correct us next time. Or if anyone could correct us on the chats, share the knowledge. Please, Jazakallah, them ones. Knowledge is worth shared, so you can have a little hasanat as well. So should we carry on?
Yes.
Let's carry on. Thank you.
To be honest with you, makes no difference. The way I see it is, You're lucky, bro. You're living without. You can be anyone you want to be, man. You can be any qabil you want to be at any time you want to be.
Yeah.
Really, you know exactly
How old
what
are
you
you?
want.
If you
You
don't
are
mind me
man.
asking. How old are you? 23?
Brother, I'm 21. I'm 21, bro.
21. Okay,
21,
21. MashaAllah.
No,
MashaAllah.
your
Okay,
roots is going back to your mom. Your mom. You go to your mom's side and you just look at it. That's your family side. That's the Somali side of the life. And also, you have right to your dad's side as well. Of course, your dad is your dad. You know what I'm saying?
You can't
So
forget your
that
dad's
makes
culture
you a
as well.
unique
yeah,
person.
of course, yeah.
You're a very
So,
unique
brother,
person. You shouldn't have
I
no
wanna-
identity
Yeah, of
crisis.
course.
You should be happy, man. Qabil is a
Bro.
burden, bro. You don't need to
Nah,
know
bro,
like
Bullshit,
that.
man.
I'm telling
yeah.
you.
So, brother, don't
Well, I
ever,
think I
and
was
listen,
sometimes.
my brother,
Well, I
my
appreciate
brother,
you, brothers. Well, I
don't
appreciate
ever
it.
let no one put you down or nothing. Like, you get me?
Now, when they say like that, why
Uh,
do you ask? Say to them next time they say, "Oh, what can we do? Kolomata and shit like that." When they say things like that, hey, bro, man, I can be anyone I want to be, man. You know,
just say
I'm a free
upsy.
man, bro.
All you have to say is
Yeah,
upsy,
but
upsy.
you're lying to him
Yeah,
though.
right,
You don't think like this. This is only you. Go. Other people look at him sideways. Look at his last name. You're gonna be like, who is this man? You're not. That's how it is. Let's stop playing the game, bro. That's the reality. You know that one
Yeah.
people's experience is not. That's the reality, though. You know what I mean?
I
People
hear
like
you. I
feel
hear where you're
comfortable
coming
around
from.
him.
I
If right now
hear
you're
where
chilling
you're.
with a bunch of Somalis and you figure out there's a half breed or there's a mixed race person there, you're gonna be like, oh,
What
this is not.
reality? Your last name, his last name, his last name. That is right. You have to understand. Ridley, you can't go around saying that your surname. He's got
No
different
one's saying
surnames.
that.
You know
You're
his daddy's
saying.
Wallah,
tribe?
honestly, sir, I agree.
Mm.
Do you know his daddy's tribe? No, you don't know. So why would
I
you
didn't.
say
I see. I
this
didn't
surname
say
is
that, bro.
different?
But you're making it seem like we have to take him, or like is there what happened to Mauritania? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I just don't get it. Like, when people are from two places, they have to respect those two places equally. Don't just jump on one
Yep.
side. That's the same thing other communities do. That they
Yeah.
always go to the
Okay,
one
you
they
know,
want.
you know, it is. I understand your situation. I understand this. I understand where you're coming from, brother. But it's one of them things where, I told you that all I've known my whole. It's not even that I'm trying to beg you with Somalis, or whatever. But all I've known my whole life is Somali.
Some
If I had
people.
access to my Mauritanian
That's what I'm
side,
saying. It's his
I'll
unique
definitely do that.
personality.
But I've been cut off. That's the thing. I've been cut
He
off.
has his
Bro,
own
it happens.
personality,
I heard so many
bro.
stories like this.
STD, sis, you there?
Yes, I'm here.
There's a profound bit that in there that kind of stood out for me. I was cut off. Okay, Lana Hadistani by the time I was cut off. What does that mean to you? When someone cuts someone off, what does that indicate?
It clearly means that he feels resentment towards the situation, because when we look at even the word that he used, cut off, it's almost as if, like, usually we say a limb has been cut off. So if we kind of even go down that line, that he feels, from what I'm hearing him say, that he has a lot of deep rooted, like, anger, rage, because when you cut something, it's like you're severing. There is also that element to it. And he feels anger because he said he's been cut off. He didn't have the decision. He didn't make the decision. Yes, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala called his father back, and Allah rahmah, his father passed away.
Allah, again, may Allah give the He's the highest channel for those, and all the parents out here, anyone that's going through struggles, may Allah, where that's passed away, people that are alive, that's a quick dua for everyone, them was, yes, we do, we make dua for everyone. Allah, sister,
of course.
like the man
But can I
telling
ask, sorry, was the father Muslim?
yeah, Mauritania, yeah, they're Muslim. It's a Muslim nation, Allah.
Okay, mashallah.
Yeah, it's a Muslim nation. It's in West Africa. It's in the Sahara region. You know the ones. It's in, yeah.
Okay, inshallah. And also, I feel like, even him being on the stream with, like, the certain, what the comments that the brothers are making and the difference of opinions that he's getting, I feel like this is not really a safe space, because this will re-traumatize him even more, because clearly what he's looking for is, reassurance, acceptance. He wants to feel belonged, because there is that cut off from the other side of his family.
But if he's always had that, but Sister Nour, okay, this is the, sometimes I have to chime in on this one. Yeah, I do really guess يلاش إنك أنت هايستي. I mean, think about it. أنت رأيك ولا أبتياشيس بوكس أو كوري واحد. Isn't that self-sufficient enough? Don't you think?
I don't think it is. If we
What?
really look at the situation for what it isn't.
Oh,
That's why it's key. Like, it's such an emphasis on both parents being present. And if one, for whatever reason, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, death or whatever, takes that other party away, it's then succumbent on the other party, i.e. the mother or the father who's looking after that child, to instill a great sense of self-esteem in them. But if you think of like someone hiding something from you, what would you feel? Like, if I know that someone lied to me or someone neglected to inform me or give me the full story about something, it will leave me to my own device. Mentally, I will assume all types of things. I will hear stories about, Somalis discriminating against other ethnicities. So I will take all of this on board, and now I will have almost this baggage of emotions, of feeling not wanted, not deserving, because like he feels cut off, like literally, he had no control, he had no say in the matter. It was
But I
a
think,
decision that was taken away from him by,
no, but
for whatever reason, the mother.
okay, from what Yabade said earlier, Yabade said something profound. I'm saying that's not profound. It stood out for me hearing this back here. Yabade did say, you're 21 now. You're old enough to make your own path now. And some of the things, even if you look, I can't bring out the comment section, but some of the comment section were agreeing with that. Like, what do you think of that? Do you still need the identity at that time because you are of an age of, okay, cool. Let me do the self-discovery. They said, if I was cut off, I can't, And someone in the comment section, I see someone said that already. Isn't it old enough to do the searching yourself? What do you think about that, Walala?
Well, firstly, to be honest, we have to really celebrate the brother, because the fact that he's chosen to come on, I feel like that's already a
MashaAllah.
sign, mashallah,
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. It
that
was a
he's
beautiful.
looking for that fulfillment. He's looking for answers. He's come on asking for advice. And normally that's, for me, that's a sign of someone who's
That's someone
deeply
brave.
reflective.
And it's brave. You know that. It is a brave person. You get me? At first I didn't reflect on it, but I think that is a brave thing to do as well.
Of course.
It is a brave
So I
thing
think
to do.
to maybe not seize the opportunity to mirror back to him, I guess, what he's looking for. Because the thing is, as children, that's why it's important, again, and I'm going to reiterate, the power and the impact that your parents have on you, especially because when you've come into this world, you need to be taught how to survive in the world. You need to be reassured of who you are. You need to understand your self-worth. You need to have a lot of things that your parents should have given to you from a very young age. Now, if that wasn't done for you, then you end up taking that with you into adulthood. So, we're looking at him as 21. I know people who are in their 40s, 50s, 60s, unfortunately, even 70s, who are having the exact same issue. But with them, they've just had many years in their journey where they have now, learned to cope with it and, patch things up and not revisit or not deal with it and just almost avoid. So the fact that he's not avoiding, he's been very honest that, hey, I have a problem. I need a solution for this. I think that's a very important thing. And I don't think we should put him down for that. And I think a little bit of what Brother Yabade said was quite dismissive, yet again, of the brother's reality. He is this age and he is experiencing this. I don't think we should also tell him that you shouldn't be at 21. You should have everything together, because he never got the support. He never got the understanding. He never felt seen. He never felt that he was important. So of course there's going to be issues.
Okay, let's carry on.
But the opposite, where a person is Korean, but they were raised by a white family, but they still want to find out about Korea. It doesn't change anything. It's you choose what you want
Yeah,
to
but
find out.
you've been cut off. I understand, man.
Because identity doesn't work like that. It takes two parents to fully raise an individual. You can claim something
now
culturally,
you're
you can't
man,
claim something
you're
lineage.
21, you have your own mind. You don't need nobody to tell you anything or nobody to cut you off. You can actually follow a way up yourself. The ancestral or whatever you go to, you just check the roots, man.
Go ahead, sis.
Sorry, I just heard and noticed something that I think is very important as well. Can you see how we're already confusing him? So in one hand, we're telling him, you shouldn't let this bother you. You should, move past this. Why are you like dwelling on it? But then on the other hand, brother Yabade, he's contradicting himself, and he's saying you shouldn't let anybody tell you what to do. You shouldn't let anybody do this. So it's almost we're giving the poor young boy mixed messages again, because we're 1 minute saying to him, you should be like this and do this and act this way. And another, we're saying, don't listen to everybody. Don't listen to people. You should, listen to yourself. So I think there's also confusion that sometimes we can bring to people when they're going through difficulties.
Again, remember I highlighted that issue earlier in the beginning of the stream when I said, sis, me and you are full Somalis. Maybe is it because of the lack of not being in them type of situations?
Of course.
That you can't really empathize. It's like, okay, cool. So as Yabade, I think brother Yabade is being one of the most blessed person on this panel. I think he's being the most warm person on the panel. I'm seeing it as that. Does that make sense? Where he's like, it's okay, young man. And Yabade's got 2 sons as teenagers as well. So he might be seen as maybe an older brother, or maybe like a young father, where he's trying to encourage his son. You get where I'm coming from? I think that's what's going on there. What do you think about that? Where he's like saying, don't let this get down to you. You shouldn't, like, you don't need this identity. From the beginning, he said, well, didn't you hear him in the beginning? He said, you're lucky. You ain't even got a Qabil. Some of us that do have Qabil in our system hate each other. So he's trying to show him. What do you think of that?
But the thing is, I think there's no, I'm not saying anything bad about brother Yabade. I think his intention, mashallah, is coming from a very warm place. And I think that's definitely needs to be recognized. The only question that I have for that is this an appropriate response for someone who is in distress, for someone who, is almost as if, the thing about when someone comes to us in everyday life, inshallah, moving forward, that someone presents an issue, generally the advice we give them is not for their benefit, it's for our own benefit. Because maybe in that moment we feel discomfort.
Oh, say that again, sis. That's powerful. That's powerful. I'm liking that. Say that again. Repeat that.
Generally,
let that sink in.
Generally, the advice we give to people is actually not the advice that's beneficial for them. It's advice that is actually beneficial for us, because it helps us to maybe get into people pleasing, to get into rescuing. So we can actually do more damage to the person, because what we're doing is we're leading with our own agenda. You should do this, you shouldn't do that. So it's almost, but then I understand where the brother's coming from, because the brother initially started with, I need advice. So this is why I think it's important to know that, when we have problems or we have issues that we're dealing with, we shouldn't put ourselves in situations where maybe we're not able to, find the resource or the relief or the comfort that we're looking for. So I think we should also be accountable. And this is where maybe the brother also needs to learn himself, inshallah.
When you're saying we should be accountable, because I remember on your channel, please go check it out. I'm gonna put the link on our channel right now in the description. You were talking. I remember this. You did a powerful stream on your channel. It was about oversharing. It's one of the streams that I loved, enjoyed. Remember that stream that you did, and you spoke about this subject, oversharing online.
I remember.
I want to tie that what you said to what's happening now. What do you think about that? Because I'm thinking about it, yeah. When you're seeking advice, I always tell people, if you're going through major dilemmas, go seek professional advice. What do you think about that, sis? So, do you think it's a bit of both?
I think it's a bit of both. And even if we just elaborate a little bit more of the, a summarized version of, or elaborate it on the
quick little synopsis of oversharing, yeah. Go ahead, sis.
So generally, when we overshare, it could be for a number of reasons, and only Allah knows why. But most of the time, it's because we're seeking some kind of attention. And some people might say this is like, oh, astaghfirullah, and it might trigger some people when we say that, but that's the truth of it. Generally because we want to feel seen, heard, accepted, approved of. We want to feel validated. And normally, when we don't have the correct support system, we will go wherever it needs to be, whether we need to go on YouTube and disclose our personal business on there, or because at the end of the day, what we need is attention. We need guidance. We need reassurance. And whether that's toxic, maybe negative or positive, it doesn't really matter, because this person, think of a child that is distressed. Think of a really small baby that can't regulate, can't soothe, and they need, mummy's comfort, or they need mummy, to breastfeed them. They are hysterical. They're crying down the house. You could be on public transport. You can be anywhere in the supermarket. They don't care. Like, they feel hot. They feel maybe they've done a doo-doo on their, diapers. They feel hungry. They don't care. The world needs to stop and give them that attention, because that's what the mother does, because they have a special bond. So when someone hasn't had that mirrored to them, generally they go back.
Don't you think the brother had that with a good support system from Abtial? She's his mom, so he's already had that. Is it the lack of the father thing now?
Well, I think
or the identity.
we're not saying.
Go ahead, sis.
We're not saying he didn't have that, because we don't have the full story of his narrative. But what we do have is that clearly right now, whatever he got was deficient. Whatever he got wasn't satisfying. It wasn't full, filling him. So now he's looking for more. And yes, because and the father is a very important, especially for a man. I believe that to have that male role model, to have that male presence, is something that is very, very, very important for both children. But I think more so even for a little boy, because there's something that, like as a woman right now, I have estrogen that's, going into my body. You have, I have estrogen, you have testosterone. So like, there's things that I can't comprehend. There's things that I can't feel, where for you can feel, or things that you feel that I feel that you can't feel. So this is the beauty of being able to have both parents with the child, because they can mirror that child how to regulate themselves.
That's definitely, sis. Should we crack on?
Of course.
Let's get on. Let's get it on.
Go follow him. You see, if, you start looking for things, you'll find yourself. You're always gonna have.
100%. Let me follow up. Let me follow up with a question. So the reason why I came on today was, I'm going through a dilemma where, let's say there was alhamdulillah, I met a nice Muslim girl, etc. Of course, she's Somali, etc. But I feel like the problem that is with the parents, etc., was that because I'm half Mauritanian, etc., that's a problem. What would you advise me in terms of a situation like that?
I'd say, do you know what you do?
Would you guys think?
I'd say go find another woman, because you don't want to marry a family where you're gonna be uncomfortable with, because these are your in-laws, my bro. So just make dua, pray. That's my advice, innit? And I'd say, look, if you're really serious about a girl, do it the halal way. Because marriage, there's nothing more barakah when two people come together, and I pray for both of you guys.
So have you met her parents?
But if you're feeling that type of way already from the get-go, bro, do you really want to bring your child up in that type of environment where it's always in the back of your mind? Do you get my drift, broski?
Right.
So
for me, look, maybe just that's all I can say.
I don't understand. I don't get it. Have you met the parents yet?
No, so basically, she what's it called? She mentioned it to her parents that, of course, like there's a brother who asked for my marriage. I don't know, but he's half Somali, half Mauritanian. But of course, she told them I basically told you guys today. But the parents, of course, I don't think that the reaction was kind of negative. Like they were like, how that basically it's gonna be a problem with me being half. So of course, me, it's not. I'm just thinking I just want to get advice to other brothers, because I don't of course I don't have no one to go to. So I just want to see.
It's not meant to be. If it happens, if you're being yourself, and you meet her parents, or if it's meant to be, it will happen. But it's not gonna happen by you changing who you are or try to be something else. You know what I'm saying? Nothing will happen. Everything's gonna happen if you're yourself. Be yourself. See how far it goes. And when it comes to the marriage, if you really like each other and you want to go for it, nothing will hold you back, man, from the marriage. It depends. If she are bad and parents and things like that get involved, okay. If she leaves, she didn't like you that much. You know what I'm saying? So just forget it. But if you don't have to worry about it, just be yourself, man. Regardless, and I wouldn't even worry about that, bro. You know, and tell him yes. So I'm half Mauritanian and half Somali. So I got Somali
But
and
you see, the
Muslim.
opposite. You see, the genuine if you,
I've seen foreigners, Muslim foreigners married to Somali girls already, bro. It makes no difference. There's a full Turkish guys,
but
there's
that's
full
all
Chinese
family
guys, there's
related though.
all sorts of people.
But that's all
They're
family.
married
If the family doesn't
to
want to accept
Muslims.
it, it's not gonna happen. Some families just want to
No,
determine that they can stay
that's
with
the
the
thing.
bloodline.
That's the thing. No, the family it depends on the individuals, how deep
Bro,
you are into each other.
that's
It does not
but
matter
how
about the family. You're not marrying her family. You're not
Facts.
marrying her
see
family. You're
now,
marrying
okay,
her.
bro. Now you're going out of the way, bro. You know that's a false statement, bro. Now let's get real. The family's involved heavily in the marriage process all the time. Like
It
you are
depends
gonna be
who
around
you
that
are
family a lot of
and
the
how you
time.
deal with it. As an individual,
Wait,
if you present
I'm
yourself as an
gonna
individual,
say this: if the
Nimanka,
family's not rocking
Ninka
with you,
Duniskadigo,
use this.
Ninka Duniskadigo, and he stands on his two own feet and he asks for hand in marriage and he goes there by himself without your family and all of that rubbish. Yeah, when you first meet her family, you always go there alone. You have to be a
See,
man on your two
if
feet.
that happens, most
Yeah,
marriages will
that's
fail
wallahi
because
it
two
does.
young
It
people
happens.
handle the situation themselves. If families don't get involved, most marriages will fail completely. They will collapse.
Why
You know
will
what I
it
mean?
fail? Why
Because
do you
it's
say that?
rare. It's rare. It's no, because people have to vet other people. It's good to have a second pair of eyes. If my daughter's married someone and she shows me him, I'll be like, nah. Why? I just noticed a few things. The way how he acts, the
No,
way
I
how he
will ask
moves.
my daughter, are you happy? You like him? Are you happy with him? Go ahead.
ah,
No,
that's
That's it doesn't
That's
work like that. It doesn't work like you see. Follow what you follow. You'll see where you're gonna have the repercussions later. No
what
one knows that. Really,
repercussions.
you just
I'm
said
not
five
gonna
minutes
stop her.
ago. You just
I
said
am
five
never
minutes
gonna
ago.
stop her. I'm never gonna stop her falling in love with other people or whoever she
100%.
likes.
I agree, my bro.
What choice am I gonna have? As long as she brings a decent guy to me, well, I'll be happy.
Half. I
It
agree.
doesn't work like that in our culture, though. Like you're falsifying the facts to this guy. If a
وبعدين هذا
man,
الكوتش كاغا ميلنا قد نقديهم man. Coach كاغا ميلنا قد صاحبي. You're acting
that's
like we in the 80s or the
I think you're
90s,
just
my brother.
making everything
80s and
rigid.
bro,
90s
that's the
new.
truth,
Don't
bro.
make
Because
things
you're
up.
lying. You're making see. No, you're talking for yourself. I'm not talking for myself. I know my community, bro. They were not homogeneous by accident. This takes thousands of years of specifically picking out partners according to certain aspects of where they're from, who they are, these type of things. The man
All right, then
called.
what?
Noor, there.
Yeah,
Any parts that you want to pick up on?
I think there's loads, subhanallah. Firstly, I want to start off with I really think it's important to address what you said to the brother, which I thought was very important, which you asked him, well, do you want to bring your child into this situation if there's already, red flags or issues that are presenting themselves right from the beginning? And that's a very good question. I think maybe if we allowed the brother to, articulate and express himself would have been nicer as well. But there's also an element that I do agree with Brother Ridley, because I do believe the family has a massive influence, because we have to understand, firstly, Islam, we have no tolerance for racism, prejudice, like all of these isms. We don't have space for it. Islam is, we're all human beings. Islam tells us to be able to unite and not discriminate against these things. So I just want to clarify that. When it comes to interracial marriage, Islam, from my limited knowledge, I haven't heard it being encouraged or discouraged. I think it's an individual process. And then going back to what Ridley said, I totally agree, because imagine you've invested, because that's what you're doing. You're investing in this child, and you have hopes and dreams and expectations for their life. So of course you're going to be cautious and you're going to be wary. You're going to be diligent, in order to make sure that she goes into a blessed home, with someone who's going to be able to take care of her. Vice versa for the brother. A lot of mothers, they want good wives for their sons and they don't want, any issues for them. So I think the fact that this has already been brought up, I think the brother should definitely reflect on this process. And there was one thing that he also mentioned was, which I didn't really understand. Like, I feel like if we pay attention to people's words a little bit earlier on, he said, you know, the family, I guess the sister or the wife to be expressed to the family about the situation. And he said, I don't think there was a negative outcome. And when I heard that, I said, something doesn't make sense. Like, you know, is either you got a negative response or you didn't.
Yes.
But the fact that he said, I don't think she got I don't think we got or she or he got a negative response, it made me think, but then it could be nerves, you know, he could be there because it's you know, he's nervous, everybody's talking
So
almost
you
at
saying
him.
when he spoke to the girl's family and she spoke to them, she told them, he's saying he could have got a negative, it could have been. So you're saying, you're trying to say it's either you got a negative response or you didn't.
Yeah, because he said,
that
I
what-
don't think,
Okay.
if you, for those listening, if you go back, he does say, I don't think we got I don't think it was a negative response. That's what he said.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Should we carry on, yeah? Let's carry on a
Yeah.
little bit more.
Alright, cool
Let me
then.
finish, bro. Let me
Adu
stop,
arrange
bro.
marriage
Let me
for the
stop.
camera.
Relax, bro. What's wrong with this man?
Aha.
The man came and said, because him being half Mauritanian is the issue. You can't tell him to change his bloodline. Now you tell him, nah, don't worry. Be a good man. The deen come first. Stop lying. Tell the man the real reality.
Now you're negative.
You're
too negative, my bro.
Somewhere else. That's the reality. You know what I mean?
You're
Because
too
it's not
negative,
like
my
he's
bro,
a
man.
crazy mix. He's another African Muslim, so it's not that bad. But same time, some Somalis are not gonna tolerate that. They'll be like, nah, I don't fuck with that. No. That's the reality, bro.
It
Like,
depends
stop
on the
lying.
individuals. Again, it depends on the individuals. Your parents would say something, oh, I don't fuck with that. But your dad marrying his daughter, no. Abdurrahman is the one that's going to marry her.
Are you making? So the man just asked. So what is he gonna do? Just take the marriage on his own two hands and say fuck the family?
No,
do
no. It depends
You know what?
how
What's the
deep
Muslim
they
wedding
are
gonna
in
be?
together. How deep it is. If the relationship's really serious and they're both into each other really deep, yes. Well, I would go and marry her on my own. Wallahi, as a man, I would take her and marry her on my own. Why not? And then show her family that I'm the best man she ever had. End of story. And then hopefully her father will come and apologize. Because at the end of the day, as a father, all you care about is your daughter being happy.
Happiness, 100%.
Yeah. Well, why should I
is what
care
counts, bro.
what career she's with or who's the man or is she light skin or garmo times Daron Misawim? So I could have the father. You go nuts, man.
Allah? ورانتو مسلم يا الحمد لله بالله رنيو ما regardless what it is,
bro.
bro.
I'm telling you the truth. As long as she's
Come on,
married to
bro.
a decent guy and she has a happy life, that's all I want my daughter for. I'm not looking for a guy on that. Come on, bro. I'm not the one sleeping.
والله ورقني.
Well, I'm telling you the truth, man. Really. Come on, man. The culture, this. I think you put too much emphasis on the culture and the parenthood and all of that. Why are you gonna burden your parents as well with the go and check the background of your man? Come on, man. You past 15 now. You're not even supposed to be in the parent house.
Your brain is not thinking, bro. You didn't hear what I said. Listen to the story. Culture plays a big part. You're not thinking properly. That's the issue with you. That's the way how we govern our lives by. Everything we do is based on culture. Certain things, eating with your right hand, or doing certain things, or eating certain type of foods, act a certain type of way. The man's whole request is him being denied because his father's lineage is not from the same place where his mother lineage is. That's the difference. The dad that he asked for the daughter's girl, her father, he's not gonna accept his hand in marriage for his daughter, and that's his right. People like you just speak, oh, this, the deen, this, the deen, that. Bro, no one cares about your opinion, bro. This is the cultural aspect. If we're not, most people that are
But you care. You don't care about my opinion. No, you don't care about my opinion, but you care about the cultural opinion.
But
the mass opinion.
But look at this though.
Mass people opinion because you care about.
Majority Muslim cultures that are conservative, they take that shit seriously. A Moroccan will still side eye an Algerian asking for his daughter's hand. It can still happen, but he'll side eye it. That's how it is. What do you mean? This is how normal you talk. Oh, who cares? My daughter could do whatever. That's you. That's not him. He's not in that situation. What's he gonna do? Go find another woman or some shit? He wants a solution. My solution to you, young man, is go to other Muslim communities. Go to the one that accepts you. You know what I mean? That's what the best one should be. Because Somalis are gonna give you a hard time, bro. I'm gonna be dead ass with you, bro. You're gonna get a hard time. Ain't no man, no father figure gonna accept what? Mauritanian?
Time, yeah.
Nah,
For
I'm not in the mood for
from
that.
how many
No
foreign
one's in
women
the
did
mood
you
for
ask
that.
for?
That's T. This the talk.
Yeah.
Wow, what do you think of that? The boy, the young Master Ridley. Young Master Ridley. He's in the chat going nuts as well. Young
Yeah, I
Master
can
Ridley's.
see. Subhanallah.
And there's a comment in the chat. I think I wanted to add, because I can't highlight it. I think it was Ahmed Abdi. Can you see that one? Ahmed Muhammad's one. Where he was saying,
I've seen a
yeah.
half white kid. Is that the one?
No,
Or is
he
it-
put one up earlier that kind of stood out for me, where he said, the thing, maybe the reason one of the dad didn't accept him is because he doesn't know his father's unknown lineage. That might bother the Somali father. But what do you think of some of the statements that was just said there?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I found the comment. Yeah, definitely. Firstly, Horta, let's maybe just maybe like break it down. So when we're looking at interracial marriages, a lot of what I'm hearing is fear, right? We can say qabil and this person's like half breed and this and the other, but ultimately it comes down to fear. And a fear is what each individual person fears the most. So sometimes it could be fear of their daughter not being accepted into that person's family, fear of the children maybe going astray because they won't be able to identify with the culture. And I think the reason why a lot of men, when it comes to their daughters, they're very heavily, I guess, want to be involved, especially a healthy father, because he wants to make sure that his daughter is going to be looked after. She's not going to be abused. There isn't going to be issues where, because now he's taking guardianship, he's almost taking responsibility for her from Islamic perspective, i.e. where she lives, what she does, the food, her
مسؤوليتها اللي
yeah.
كله ورجع
So he's taking
مسؤوليتها هنا.
accountability and not accountability, but responsibility for her. So I think it's very important for every father to do his due diligence for him to find someone who's suitable. And if you're saying that, this brother's already got certain issues where maybe he feels like he's lacking something because he didn't have a father, then a father's naturally going to wonder, how did he get raised? Who influenced him? Who taught him to be a man? Is he going to hit my daughter? Can he control his anger? So various different things. Is he able to provide? Where did he see all of these being shown to him of, the responsibility of a man? And I think for a father especially is very important, because normally with their daughters, if they've raised them upright, he's invested a lot. He went to work every day. He probably had to get, 2-3 jobs when he didn't want to, because he had to make a lot of sacrifices. So for him to give that away and in nilly-willy, I think it's very inappropriate. And I understand Brother Yabade, he's obviously trying to appease, and play into the role of all of this doesn't matter. It's all on your own terms. You can take control. It doesn't matter. But really, I feel like we're still not being honest. We're not being genuine in this conversation, because the brother, what he's got facing him, if he does get married to this person, if the family is already like this, it seems like it's going to be very problematic for him. And on top of that, he's not someone who's grounded in his own identity. He's saying that I have identity issues.
Do you think that is problematic when you're not? Again, this is why I always say emphasis: discover yourself. When you're not grounded, what's so problematic? You want to explain that to me when you said that? Because that
Of
kind of
course,
stood out what you just said there. Wallah.
you don't have a clue about who you are. You don't have a clue how to self-regulate.
How to
You're
conduct
almost
yourself.
living very impulsively, and you have this sense of entitlement. There isn't a balance. Like when you have a healthy balance of yourself and you feel centered in yourself, you have self-awareness. But if you don't have identity, or you're having identity crises, you don't have self-knowledge, you don't have self-awareness, you're not a whole person from what you're telling me if you're saying you have identity crisis because you don't even know who you are.
Yeah. That's true. That's powerful. That's powerful, sis. Yeah, someone said Ragedi when I said he also planning to move abroad and wanted advice with multiple issues. Runta. Well, yeah, we get into that. But let's get back. Let's jump on this.
Well,
He
man,
ain't in the mood. Most of the OGs are not in the mood for that, fam. That's all. That's the reality. I'm not.
So,
I'm
brother,
telling
is
you.
that a question to me, brother?
It's like me trying to go marry a Punjabi
but
woman.
listen,
I already
man,
know
has,
I'm gonna come with a hostel. I already know it's gonna be
has
a
it been
hostel and a half.
approached though? Have you found out that it's gonna be an issue? Did the parents tell her it's gonna be a definite issue?
Okay, let's ask the man.
Yeah.
The parents said, yeah, it's gonna be an issue. I don't think it will work. To her.
Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, to me.
Yeah, sorry, brother. Yeah, no, so basically the overview was the parents, they said they're not going to be happy with it. They're going to let it happen. Just know, basically, they're going to cut ties with the daughter. So the father
that's
will
peak.
give you to her,
That's a
but
blessing. You
he'll
can
just
still
cut
do it.
ties on that.
You can still do it though. That's blessing.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
She's the one
But
that's
I
gonna have
was
to
just
take the
thinking,
bigger
like, for
risk.
example, if I need Imla Hest, brother, if I need Imla Hest, yeah, do you feel like it's going to be a problem because a war god or a Wajaran? You get it? Like, even to my wife as well, do you feel like it's going to cause problems to my marriage because of the way her parents are acting? Or do you feel like...
ST.
Well, that just hurt my heart. The last bit that the brother said. Did you hear even when he was saying the word Jarer, like how his voice lowered? And he was like, is that going to cause problem for my children, for, his grandchildren and for his wife? SubhanAllah, like we have to wake up and understand like how we're destroying people's lives because of our own ignorance. This little wallahi, I don't know. I just subhanAllah, my heart really, I felt a deep sense of sadness for this young man. May Allah make it easy for him. I mean,
Amen. Should we carry on, sis?
of course, yeah.
Let's carry on.
Not
the dad
really.
gives you
Bro,
permission,
the
it's
real
okay.
Somali, when
No,
they disown,
it shouldn't affect you.
yeah, it shouldn't affect. That's a. I like when people do that. It makes it easier, because families shouldn't support. The families shouldn't support those type of decisions. Trying to, especially kids trying to. Oh, it's weird if your parents are trying to cut you off. I remember there's an issue, something like that happened a couple years back in England. Somali girl tried to marry a convert. The parents like, oh, do that, but we're cutting you off. And then everyone tried to stigmatize the parents. I'm like, well, who cares? At least they didn't fucking honor kill her. In some cultures, you can still do what she wants to do. Who cares? The parents have a right not to want their child to create half breeds or
No,
other.
it's
They
true.
don't have the
Parents have
bloodline.
the right.
You know what I mean?
They have the right
Paternal
to
lineage is
whatever.
important to us. We're not cuck nations. We don't believe in none of that matriarch or mother raised children. No. If the father's blood is not there, the father's lineage doesn't come from the Somali ethnicity. We're not claiming it. Like that's how it is. We're not trying to attack people and get mad. That's just the realism. Because people like who are half our bloodline, they never ride out unless it's Oromos. That's the only ones I've known. But even then, they still have a hard time. But most time, it's the only certain people can tell. You know what I mean? That's the only people some. But even then, it's rare, bro.
Okay.
Can I say something?
Go
I
ahead,
hope that
sister.
answered your question for you.
Go ahead, sis. Come through.
Yeah, Ridley, I'm so sorry. I have to disagree with you in this particular moment because, again, I feel like you're being part of the problem. And the reason why I say that, and inshallah, hopefully we can discuss this afterwards and you can jump on, is that for you to make those statements, this is the exact fear that this brother was having. The fear of not being accepted, the fear of, he said, people, like Jarer, like an outsider. When we use the word Jarer, like how disgusting is that word? Like it's never in a positive connotation. It's always in a negative. Like as if the people are less than us, we're putting them down. So in that regard, for me anyways, the way I've heard Jarer interpreted is never a positive. So for someone to come and say, I have this issue, and for us to on live TV say to him, Sahib, sorry, we're not accepting you because you're half breed. I don't care what it is. Like I'm hoping that's not what you meant, because before that you said to him, which was positive, Somali people don't even accept themselves. let alone trying to accept someone who has a half, you know, or who's half caste or half mixed. So, but the fact that, you know, we made that comment was made, I think that's also going to really cause even more problems to the brother. Because let's even dissect this, right?
Go ahead, sis.
Imagine we've never been in his situation, right?
Yeah.
So we can never understand what this young man must be feeling. So imagine all his life from the age of, you know, whatever till he was like in secondary school, he was
13.
told, 13, right? He was told that he's this one way. And he has, you know, he's been introduced to the culture. He's proud. He's raising the flag. He's, you know, feeling like one with everyone. And then suddenly a bombshell drops, you know, at the most critical phase in your life. And you get told, oh, wait a minute, you're actually not fully this. You know, there's also, you've been diluted, basically. And I'm sure the mother, in order to protect her son, she would have told him a lot of the rhetoric that goes on in the Somali community, just like what Ridley just addressed about us not wanting to accept people, and we don't see people who are mixed or any kind of, you know, with any ethnicity. We don't see them as Somalis. You know, so that's going to cause a lot of issues. Firstly, the problem started with the mother and the father, right? It was her error to not teach the son about his heritage when it comes to his lineage from his father's side. It was, you know, qadar min Allah happened. Ilahi took the father and he died. So for this young boy to find him in a situation where he is today, I feel like it's very ignorant of us all to now view him and say, no, sorry, we're not going to accept you. Simple as that. You know, you're not.
But at the beginning, do you see the beginning? We did accept him, but the stream is gonna get a bit tense sooner or later. So
I can understand why it would get tense, because
it's gonna
this
get tense
person
soon.
has been almost, because you know why, when someone doesn't feel heard or seen or, you know, even like mirrored, it's like he's having two opposing contradicting views. Ridley's here in 1 minute, the brother Yabada is here, Ahmed is just, you know, floating around, and you know, you've left the scene. So he's brewing, because, you know, he mentioned Jarer, and then straight away, not long after, Ridley's like, no, sorry, we're not going to accept you. You know, we don't accept. And I understand, because we have a deep-rooted issue with arrogance. That's our underlying problem, if I'm honest. Arrogance, and we're very self-entitled, and we're very grandiose when it comes to where we're from and how we view ourselves, when really and truly, this is why we have issues in our country. You know, I think each to their own. If you want to get into an interracial marriage and it benefits you, mashallah, go for it. If it doesn't, mashallah, don't go for it. But when now the consequences is that we have this young man who feels lost, now for us to say, no, we're turning our backs on you, I think it's very dangerous, because these are why people become radicalized. These are why people end up breeding self-hate. And then they have all these insecurities, and now they're going to have children, and those children are going to breed even more insecurities, because it's never-ending cycle.
Okay. But on that side, you said it's a never-ending cycle. At this age, I would have said you're 21, brother. Yeah, right. Yeah, you're still young. Do you get where I'm coming from, Malala? Like, mashallah, he's got youth on his side. Yeah, Allah's blessed him with youth right now, with Alphamad. Do you think I would have? One of my advice, listening back, and hopefully I'm gonna give this advice again. Yeah, listening back to the whole stream. One of my advices would have been, well, why don't you go discover yourself? Because I think that's what he needs.
That is
I know you don't need your mom to hold your hand now. You're 21. You've got certain numbers, addresses. Jump on a flight and discover that side of you. Hold this marriage down. Don't just put this pressure into you right now, because you're going into something with this clout on your head. Do you get where I'm coming from? Look, at the end of the day, like, I'm not trying to discourage halal marriage. Don't ever get that twisted, yeah? But what I'm kind of discouraging is going into something with this mindset. Do you get where I'm coming from? And I think, like, this is a lot of issues, and I think this is why a lot of divorces happen in a couple of years, especially in our community as well. Yeah, people are going into this thing with baggage and problems and what behind it is. Do you get my drift where I'm going, Walala?
Yeah, I definitely hear where you're coming from. I think the reason why we have divorces is, firstly, removed Islam completely out of the equation because we're not practicing and we're not following it. We just follow what we've been told from our ancestors and our parents, and we just take it as gospel. So we don't have no clarity in anything to some respect. And then secondly, the reason why divorces are happening is because we have now foregone our heritage and our, Islamic belief systems to incorporate new ones, to override, because we feel like Islam is, it doesn't attend to our needs, because Islam is very disciplined. You have to be disciplined. As a man, you have to have your stuff together before you're looking to get married to another woman.
Yes.
Right. But now we have women who are, working, which there's no problem in that. But what I'm saying, roles have been reversed. So now that causes another issue and a problem to the equation. And secondly, it really comes down to people not knowing themselves, because a lot of these issues, it can be avoided if people know how to communicate. There's nothing wrong with, if you happen, to want to get married to someone who's on a for different ethnicity. Yes, if your parents would say, I would prefer you not to, there is a reason for that as well. They're valid, because, maybe to your father, his most priority is the lineage. Maybe to your father, he's fearful for you because he doesn't want you to get into any problems down the line, or your, children, or his grandchildren.
So sis, wouldn't this be a perfect example as well sometimes as well? Like, just in case these scenarios do happen, one of our sisters, she leaves the tribe basically. She leaves the tribe. She gets married to Ajnabi person. Something happens. What lessons can young sisters take away by, okay, instead of I think that's a bit. This is what's happening right now. We're seeing a problematic side that's happening, I feel. Do you get where I'm coming from, sis? Where, again, and I've always said this, where a lot of sisters might hate this here. Isn't that for the sister to be taking accountability? She should take in and come what's going on on her head now and try to improve it as much as she can. Or do you think he should, at this age right now, hold back all of this? Because I see a confused kid trying to get into a marriage and confuse out the thing and then bring confusion. I would have said, yo, bro, go fly out. Go work, go discover your other side. Do you get where I'm coming from? Does that make sense? Hold on, man.
No, I hear where you're coming from. But is that the reality, though? That's the question that I would pose to you, because we have two young people who are, being almost marinated in a society which is hypersexualized, which is all about, pleasing the ego and fulfilling your, instant gratifications and all of these things, and getting your needs met. So when those two people come together, of course, now there's an issue. It's definitely both of equal responsibility on both parties to know where they are in their journey. As a young woman, firstly, do your family agree with it? If they don't, I would say never make a decision. And this is just my own, understanding of things, is always get an opinion, right? Don't, because sometimes as women, we feel like because our parents said no, it's almost as if they're, stopping us from something that, gives us pleasure, or something that, will fulfill and be our happy ever ending. But it doesn't work that way, because sometimes people can foresee, especially if they're older. Well, nowadays,
wisdom.
Nowadays I think we have to also question that. But generally, when people are older, they have a lot more life experience. They're a lot more wiser. They have a lot more wisdom, so they can maybe help you to navigate through some issues that might arise. So I think it's important, never just completely let go. Like, even if it feels uncomfortable and you don't want to hear what your family is telling you, I would advise, like, really try to get an objective understanding or view on things. Don't just go off with the emotions, the instant, feeling of like, he's going to be my Prince Charming. Because a lot of us, we've been raised with Cinderella. We're all out here trying to find our Prince Charming, but we don't know what that even means. We don't even know how we should be. And marriage is serious. It's not
serious. This is what I'm saying.
And
then boom, this is what I try to explain to the brother. I was like, yo, why don't you just hold your horses a little bit? Yeah, go like for me, it's like I say this here to the young folks in it, yeah, and maybe the young people when her parents are saying, "Ukadi, take your time, you're still a bit," you know them ones, yeah. She might be because we gotta remember they're both maybe 21, you know them ages where they're rebellious. I know everything. They're at that age right now. You know, at that age that I wish we could go back to 21. Our 21-year-old selves, we probably I know everything. Do you get where I'm coming from? They're at that age. Yeah. But for me, this is a big step. And I see like when I'm speaking to the brother and we're gonna hear the stream, everyone's saying the link. The link's gonna come on when we sort of break it down, then we're gonna put the link out. Just give us a little bit. But sis, don't you think like that's what my advice was. Like, you're gonna enter something with all of this baggages and all of this, and every move that you see, because obviously every move that a family makes or already is gonna piss you off. Oh, it's because I'm half. You're already gonna sense that. Well, like, let's not be around the bush. Elisis.
If
Already, you've got
if you have insecurities
from
and
the
you
get
get
go.
yourself in a situation that is going to be against you rather than for you, best believe you're. Furthermore, it's human nature. You're going to look for those conflicts. You're gonna, whenever, like you said, Brother Khalid, when someone says something, automatically you're not going to look at it from a place of being objective. You're going to look at it from a place of personalization. Oh, they wouldn't do that if it was a Somali brother. Or maybe the sister might say, oh, they wouldn't,
Thank
you know,
you.
it's always your insecurities. You need to handle them and you need
Yeah,
to take control of them and, you know, find a way to relieve and to, you know, attend to them, because you're just going to create a really destructive, you know, environment for yourself.
and then you're gonna bring kids into that. This is you're gonna hear something that Ahmed said already. Are you really gonna bring children into this sort of thing as well? So, guys, let's carry on. Let's carry on.
يا عبد الرحمن.
No, I did, bro. I appreciate all of your input. I appreciate.
Inshallah, all well, man. Allah will, it will happen.
Come on. You know what they say, no woman, no cry, young man. You're 21. Go make some money right now. Dust yourself up. You know the one. Shaka is so work. You know
Like
the ones.
Ridley,
Improve your
said, go
iman.
market yourself. Go market yourself, bro. Rebrand yourself. The guy goes, rebrand yourself, bro. Go on.
No,
Not
because
a
if I was
joke.
Abdurrahman, bro, I would just go get the best person for me, bro. You know what I mean? It's too much to try to integrate. I don't know why a lot of you people like you, man, they always try to do this to themselves. Like they try to integrate into a community that doesn't want them. Like you have a better mental health when you embrace your true identity, which is dual. It's not you're not fully. You don't have the same experience as most of us on this panel. You know what I mean? You have your own experience. You know, I
Yeah,
never had an
you're
issue.
your own unique person.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's a problem with a lot of them because I think it's just because the large Somali population and our community being this, and once people share that, they want to have it. Like, oh, I'm Somali. Like, if we're not no disrespect, bro, but we're not like we don't come from these other cultures where all it takes is one parent to give you identity. Like all it is, you know what I mean? It's like you gotta have it's a two people thing. You know what I mean? It doesn't work like that.
I
No
kind
matter
of
how.
understand where you're coming from without being putting anything down. It's like, where do we cross the line and say, yo, listen, at the end of the day, we are a Kabyle-based nation. We're gonna ask you for Lamatai. And we're gonna be awkward for expressing our culture to please other people. I mean, where's the thin line? Look, surely if in tenor for one of our sisters, they're off didn't it? Surely isn't the job and a compass on her to tell her, well, you know, Somali, they're ducking for you're that person, and teach them that you're that. I don't know, maybe I don't know.
No, but can I ask you a political question? I ask you.
I'm not trying to be rude. I'm not trying to be rude,
like,
but for with us here, don't you feel like, okay, cool? Like, when does that person realize, yo, okay, maybe I'm? When did they accept? Okay, cool. They've got their thing. It's their thing. You know the ones, Runtawan accent. They've got their wallahi, and
You're right.
isn't there a bit of balance because that kind of
I've
makes us
never
kind of like.
never seen.
Because it kind of makes me feel like
I've never seen a problem.
Yeah, Sister Nour, there's where it gets a bit heated. You're gonna see the tensions kind of build up soon.
Okay.
Anything? Yeah. So I'm just warning you. Okay, let's go.
Yes, I never seen a problem with this Khabib thing, etc. Even like I know who I am, and of course, alhamdulillah, I mean, Allah created me. etc. Like, I'm not gonna beg it from either side, etc. Like, oh, I'm Somali, let me try to be Somali. It's not a thing like that, but it's just a thing where I'm going into marrying into a Somali thing, and I just wonder, like, how's my life gonna be like for my kids, etc. And like, I know, for example, like, if I was to go Somalia, like, it would be problems because, like, then, like, you have to stay with your people, like, with what you guys are, etc. So
No, you
me
don't have
personally,
to.
it's just
You
like
can go
I'm just
anywhere you want. You
yeah,
don't have to
no,
stay
Hire a
with
but
security
I'm
guard to stay at a hotel.
You go there on holiday, you go
look,
rent a hotel, you chill out, man. It could be anywhere.
yeah, no, you're right.
You
You're right.
don't
No,
have
but
to.
the thing is,
Don't put too much pressure, too much thinking on it. Your kids will be
no,
who
you're
you
right.
want
You're right.
them to, or who you make them to grow up to be. It's what you tell them. It's what you teach your kid,
Yeah,
he
of
will
course.
become.
But I think my final thing will be is just like, as a half Somali, half Mauritanian here, yeah, like, where would be the best place for me to raise kids? Like, because I don't want to stay in the West, and I know I can't, like,
Yeah,
raise
but
kids
then
in
again,
a
see,
Somali
again,
society.
no offense, is that's not really us as Somali men's problem. That's a your problem. I think
Yeah.
that would be your problem. At the end of the day, if you're gonna like, this is the thing about having dual identities. These are issues that, boy, that's what you face, innit? And
We also
You're
have to
right.
look at the truth.
don't you feel like, ain't you guilty? No, in a way, yeah, don't you feel like you're in a way where you're trying to please one culture, you're suppressing something else?
Best of
You
both
know what it is
worlds.
though. The thing is, I feel like you misunderstood it. Like,
No, I totally
I'm
understand. I
proud.
think, are you
I'm proud of it.
misunderstanding me? Are you trying to?
No,
I know
he's
you
quite
tried to.
happy. He's
No,
quite
وقف
happy with
أحمد.
his
Yeah,
dual
no, وقف
culture.
أحمد. وقف أحمد.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's
because at the
quite
end of the
happy.
day,
Yeah, I'm happy
He's
with it.
quite
I'm happy
happy.
with it.
But he's saying to
Actually,
you,
but the thing
I'm
is,
marrying a Somali woman. I want to
yeah,
get him to marry a Somali woman. That's what he's saying to you.
yeah. But I
So
hear this
how
all
is
the
that
time.
going
I
to
want to
affect?
marry Somali women this, Somali women that. To me, I don't know, man. For me, well, if you're gonna marry someone really, and you're not really kind of like and all of this, ain't that really a you thing, young man, to sort
So,
out?
yeah. So
Yeah,
what I'm saying, Abdurrahman, is because you don't want to raise the kids in the West, why not try the South or the East or the North?
Alright.
Why not?
what do you mean,
Why
bro?
not try anyway?
Sis, did you find any of that problematic or anything?
I thought Horta, I wanted to ask you, like, with also Brother Yada, you guys must have been triggered.
Yeah. No, because do you know what it was? It was just that question there. It's like, well, I don't know where, I don't want to live in the way, I don't know where. Bruv, like, again, you're not really ready for marriage then. Because you have to go into this. If you want to raise your kids in the West, you have to raise your kids in the West. Okay, what country am I going to go to? How can I answer that for you, sis? That's where I'm coming from. Was that me being I don't know if I was being like, I didn't know. I just thought to myself, like, bro, I swear you're already having problems. You want to get married, and now you're asking a question like, I don't know what country. Like, for me, it's like, bro, are you for real? Do you get where I'm coming from, Malolo?
Yeah, no, I hear you. I think where you were coming from what I've heard you say, is you were coming from a perspective of, well, I can't help you, right? I don't know what to tell you. But in terms of him, I felt like, again, that there was a sense of, like, when you said, should I or should we oppress one culture, suppress it in order to appease another? I think it's, just as how confused that we all seem to be here with the brother, and, what exactly does he need? And how, could he move forward getting it? It's almost how he feels. So that there is, like, when someone mentions something, it's like, you've picked up on his confusion, and you've also, like, in psychology they call it transference. So sometimes, like, we transfer certain energy or feelings onto one another. So there is that sense of, okay, the frustration of, like, well, you're the basically you're the problem, and you need to go and fix it. And I felt that wasn't, in a way, supportive for him in that moment. And again, because he also put himself in that position to come and want guidance from, people who might not view him as fully Somali, and in terms of Qabila culture. But then the question is, where do we go then? Because we have young brothers and sisters like him, but then we have, this Daqan where we need to hold onto, which there is nothing wrong with it. I think it's a blessing, is what identifies us and makes us different. But how can we also now be inclusive to everyone, where we don't leave people feeling left out, or they feel like, you know, they're the problem and they need to just go somewhere in, I don't know, the fields and sort it out themselves. And even like Brother Yabade, he was like, well, can you not go to the east and can you not go here? I was like, you know, brother is like, it's like someone saying to you, I'm lost, can you give me direction? And you're just like, well, you know, okay, try there and then maybe try there. And
No, but then again,
like,
isn't that, look, think about this, yeah. You're making decisions at this age of 21 to say, no, I want to get married. And I'm like, okay, cool, but I don't want my kids in the West. What should I do? I'm multi-mixed, and then, but I don't know this side. So it's like, okay, so like for me, it got to a stage like, oh, bro was like, against this. I'm not a therapist. Remember that this is a live stream. I'm
no,
not.
of course.
I'm not
And can I
qualified.
just say, Khalid, wallahi, you did amazing. Like, all I'm saying, remember we said this is a teachable moment. So inshallah, like, you know, if we do come across this situation, and it's also a reminder for myself, because there's times I do, you know, I'm not fully present. And because of that, I feel like we could cause more harm to someone's psyche because they already feel very fragile. So it's also for us to all learn, inshallah. And this is not just, for us to benefit from.
And a benefit for us as a community to say, you know, if these things do occur, like, okay, cool, we have to, you know, speak on all angles.
We have to be honest, sensitive to people's circumstances. Yeah.
Let's carry on. Wait, furthermore, I'm just going to take a little...
Why not? Up to you.
I mean, look, but hey, Kate, I understand where you're coming from, bro. But the thing is, it's not like I'm trying to repress something from my other side. I'm proud to be half Mauritanian, but it's just the situation Allah put me in. Like, of course, I told you my father passed away when I was young, so I haven't got to grow up with that side. I don't have no contact with that side, so I can't really do nothing about it. Like, if I would gladly go to Mauritania. I'll gladly be my people. But the thing is,
if the background's like that, if the background's like that, why are you asking man all these questions, young man? If you don't mind me asking, if you already mindset is like, I don't even have questions with it. If you already had this sort of, this is already my mindset is made up. If already like Ilaha has made this path for you, saying you don't really have that connection there. What's with this? I'm trying to understand. I'm trying to get into your, trying to understand
That's his only identity, I think.
No, the question was the question.
Are you trying to say Somali's your only identity because you were born in it, or could you say?
No. It's nothing to do. It's nothing to do with Somali identity, etc. Like, I'm a Muslim first, alhamdulillah, and Islam is my identity. And I'm half. So the way Allah created me is half Somali, half Mauritanian, alhamdulillah. But I think it was just because I had that question where I'm married a Somali girl, etc. I already told you about the negativity that stemmed from me being half Mauritanian, and I was just asking the brothers, do you feel like it's worth it? Like, do you feel like it's worth me going into that society, knowing how I'm viewed, etc.
It's up to you, bro. This is the thing again, because I feel like you're making my community and something sound like there's some dreadful people, bro.
Facts.
Do you mean dreadful people?
Do you mind? Can you switch on your camera? Let me switch on your camera.
No, why would I switch on my camera?
Do you want to switch on so we can see you, what type of person you are? You might be someone else and just coming out here just trying to like, make the Somalis look kind of stupid, because I don't know. Do you want to switch on your camera? Come on, don't be shy. Let's see who you look like. I know. Let's see your face, or let's see if you're really Somali. Because sorry, sis. Let me go back to it. Can you see me getting a bit irated?
I can. Subhanallah.
You can see. I don't know what happened to me.
You're defending the community.
No, because do you know what? At that time, it's like, okay, I'm young, bro. I'm trying to do the best I can with you, like you know the ones. And it was a stream where we were having, before the stream, we were having a beautiful, beautiful dialogue, innit?
Right.
And then what happened was, it's what can I say? just came in, and then it's like, you know, after a little while, you're giving the brother advice, you're giving him, and then it's like, okay, cool. It's starting to hit a brick wall now, because I think he started getting defensive now. Do you get where I'm coming from?
Yeah, no, I can definitely empathize with both of where you're coming from, because I feel like with him, you can sense that there's almost like as if the judgment, you know, he's reiterated a few times that I'm not begging, I'm not, you know, here to try and seek people's approval. This is the circumstances Allah brought me into, and now I'm almost looking for guidance. But I think also something that's interesting that maybe, I don't know if you can remember, but before you mentioned to me, was that unfortunately there are some, you know, non-Muslims who really almost degrade. And I feel like as a community, there is that stereotype of like when we see someone who isn't like us or who doesn't have the same cultural background, that they're almost seeing them as an enemy. And I just want to stay with this for a minute, because I think a lot of the issues that we have with one another is because we view each other as enemies, as if like you're someone that I should fear because you have an agenda and there is something that, you know, you want to do which is harmful to me or to my community. And I think as people also, we're very much enmeshed as a community. Like we will die for, you know, the sake of qabil, and that's very much apparent in, you know, back home. You've seen people killing innocent people, where we treat you human beings worse than animals, subhanallah. And that, with that understanding, what it breeds is lack of empathy. You know, it's almost as if we have to protect our own, but then within our own we have subcategories where we also have to defend and protect ourselves. So a lot of what's jumping out to me from here on this stream is there's a lot of fear. The brother is riddled with fear because, you know, the future hasn't even happened, and he's already preoccupied of, like, you know, how he's going to be rejected, how maybe people are going to perceive him, how his children are going to be perceived, where should he live. So he's already in the future, and he's catastrophizing and making things to be, you know, very extreme, because at the end of the day we don't even know, like, this is just a thought process, this is not the reality because it hasn't happened. But then also we have us on the other side, where we feel almost attacked because we don't seem to have the answer, you know, and nothing we can say to the brother is soothing him, or, you know, and I feel like there's miscommunication here right now, and that's where maybe the tension's coming from. Yeah,
It's starting to bubble up. Watch this. All right, let's carry on. And I think there's guys in the chat. Guys in the chat, I beg you, wallah, please mention that. Like, let me say this is of Somali Bantam Corona, yeah. Wallah, slayaba. I can't multitask, yeah. I can't do all of this at once, yeah. And I'm seeing some dumb shit going on, yeah. So wallah, dadwa win bali he before I strip everyone from mod and just kick you all out, slayaba from now on, it. Of Somali no one leash again, yeah. I'm gonna dadwa wahan erkiya waha qorqorisan, so wahan nigga please. Let's carry on, sis. Do you know what's been happening?
Oh, so,
you know why?
So you don't
because I'm not. No, I'm just trying to say something.
Tip. He's on the
It's not even. It's just not even that. So I could just pick up two words and be good. Like some of my good friends, yeah, speak good Somali, and they could just come up here and make us look like, you know, this type of conversation. Because I'm starting to think, So, brother, do you want to like Imaka right now? I know what Ridley's face is. Yabada, I know him. Ahmed, we all know what can Somali got. So, brother, we don't know you. Seeing as you're a new person, innit, yeah? Brother, do you want to switch on your camera? Let's see who you really are. See if you look like us.
Wait. Okay, so is the problem you're trying to say that I'm not
Are you Somali? You might just be someone else who just come in here. Nah, yeah, you might have just.
I want to know.
Because anyone could just make up. Anyone can make a. Nah, but I'm saying someone can make any sub story up here. Look at this Somali family. I've heard this, so I'm just.
I want to know if this guy, first of all, does he speak Somali?
I don't know, man. Because the other day, look, we found big up brother Jamil and all these guys. We've got Somalis claiming to be Christian.
What is Somali?
بس والله ما حاجة دنعه ويداك تمين محاي إنك حوجر في Somali نقولشك هذا تلي one دقم ولا صاقرة إما خانوشك واحد.
No, you know what, guys? I want to ask you a question. Yeah? Let me answer your question. But you said, is it wrong for me to join a married Somali woman? Yeah, I wouldn't say it's wrong, but
you know what, as long as you're proud of your culture, as long as you speak the language, as long as you actually understand certain culture bases and etc., then why not? But if you're trying to convince the Somali girl to leave her culture and join your westernized culture, then I don't advocate that. Sorry.
Oh, man, I'm getting bored. Yo, brother, you want to switch on your camera? Let's see if it's really happening.
K didn't speak. He said,
You want to
hold
switch?
on.
No, brother. No, listen.
Hoi there, وقاعدين man. Hoi there, وقاعدين man.
وقاعدين يا كسي
وقاعدين حكتها.
وقاعدين
يا كسي تاي.
جيجا.
No, but yeah, وقاعدين كسي تاي. I didn't
جيجا.
ask him, but yeah, no, yeah, kسي تاي. That's how I know Somali mentally didn't it.
What is
Because
she?
you know what it is, yeah. I'm not gonna lie to you. Do you know
مقارنة.
what it is, yeah? I'll tell you the truth, yeah. We found out, you know what, these people have Somali bait, get up, I'm not gonna lie to you. And like, see the video that Jamil and them lot played. Do you get where I'm coming from? So for me, it's like, I don't know.
Somali though.
I don't know. Well, Habashi, these things can happen. A lot of people could come out here, oh, somebody can I sit on a live to make our people sometimes that really. Nina that tired. I have Somali tired. I don't tell her she sit here.
Yeah.
After what's going on, Muslim bar tie. Or then I can
the thing was going good. You just say, oh, the parents are not accepting of the relation.
ST sister, it's the therapy, talk therapy. Hello.
Yes, I'm here. Sorry, I put on the camera. I went to get a drink. Sorry, I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. Did you see this bit? Did you hear this bit?
I heard. Yeah, I heard most of it.
Mm-hmm.
The other bit that towards the end was a bit blurry for me. But basically, what I'm hearing is you obviously asking him to put his camera on. I heard Brother Dapper telling him that, you know, there isn't an issue as long as he's not here trying to almost brainwash sisters from leaving their culture and also their idea, you know, the way of life.
Thank you. That's what I thought after a little while, yeah. I made the first assumption. I was like, you know what, alright, fuck it. Like, it's getting a bit boring now. It got to a bit boring. Like, alright, cool. And I thought to myself, you know what? I've got, like, me personally, I've got two friends. Well, one's Turkish and one's Ugandan, innit, yeah? They speak better Somali than Ridley. And most panelists, you know them ones, their Somali's on point. Because they'll be less awkward, innit, yeah? So I was thinking to myself, obviously, you know, this is YouTube. Half the panelists, I don't even know what the hell they look like, innit, yeah? I thought to myself, is this brother actually coming out here to, you know, that kind of you know them ones, to paint us out like this? Because this could have been a whole fabricated story as well. Because we never know what analysis. But for me, that's how I felt. At that time, I was thinking, okay, cool. Like, everything I'm telling you, and you're just there, like, ooh, but, sit but. And then it's always that, and then it felt like, okay, cool. It felt like you're just taking shots at Mother Somali. I don't listen to Bahdi shit.
I hear where you're coming from. But the question that I have is, you know, why do we feel attacked? You know, why do we assume or jump to those conclusions? Because sometimes we do that, and it's human nature. And I feel like, but the question we have to ask ourselves is it the right thing? Because yes, you know what, for all we know, he could have been, you know, someone who was a troll and someone who maybe wasn't telling the truth. But at the end of the day, I feel like the way we've responded has now, firstly, it turned out that he was, alhamdulillah, but it's almost as if we've now, you know, judged him with, you know, painted him with a bad brush, like as if, so now he doesn't just have the issue of not being accepted, but it's also the issue of being interrogated. Because that's the feeling that I got, you know, when the questions were asked to him. I felt, oh, that just didn't really feel right. Like there was almost an attack, like he was being attacked. And to be honest, like, I'm not saying it's right or wrong. Like, we all act in the moment in different ways. But I'm thinking, is this maybe some of the issues that we might have as a community where, because it really is fear, you know, it's fear. Like,
but for me, I don't really think so. Because look, listen, for me, it's like, no, okay, in number good say, okay, in until we bahday, nimbe good stay out of whatever, ninkales ko don't yeah. Cool. Or ninki ba donate, do wara yo ko kana santai. But for ninki into anigu no imado, na we dios walahan, it's like, okay, cool. For me, it's like, what you trying to do, brother? That's how I thought of it. You get where I'm coming from? I thought of, okay, you like, really, haddaa ina doonaysid xalaala was guursanaysaa Yurubaa joogta, it's not that difficult. Reckon iska oglaanayn, you know them ones.
Yeah.
But for me, it's like, are you trying to paint this narrative? Because there's a lot of people painting this, especially I've seen this one. I don't know if maybe females are not aware of this, but I see this anti-Somali man naib, whether it's because your dog can whether like, we try to, majority of us like Hidir dog. I don't know what it is here, but there is this assault on the Somali man. And some of the sisters, I hate to say, some sisters are behind, they're pushing it. I don't know whether they're pushing this narrative subliminally, and it's a lot of what Kevin Samuels talks about, where some of the women may be programmed to hate their own. Yeah. So it gets to a stage where I thought to myself, well, I'm a Somali bunch, this is a Somali platform. This conversation is getting to a situation where are you trying to really paint us out as that usri or racist? That's what I felt at that moment. And because we've told you the information, we've told you, well, we've given you our best advice as older brothers, then hit the merry road. Do you get where I'm coming from? Well,
I hear where you're coming from.
that's what I felt like at that time.
I hear. Of course. And sometimes we need to reflect as well, right?
That's why exactly we were doing this reaction. Even remember we were watching it and I was like, fucking hell, I could have done things a lot better.
Yeah. And can I also just commend you for that, Khalid? Because I think it takes a lot. I think it's you even showing your vulnerability. And I really, really do hope that your viewers and your subscribers can really take the wisdom out of this session, because I feel like for someone to put themselves up to be questioned or to maybe even sometimes be shown, because none of us like to be told we're wrong. That's the crazy thing. Like, none of us do. It hurts our identity, the ego, the false self that we've created. So I really do think, mashallah, like, this is very brave. And I feel like even the way you're articulating, the way you're speaking, alhamdulillah, this is something that we can all learn, because this is a we problem. It's not an I problem.
Thank you.
What we have going on, firstly, we have to address that there is no smoke without fire. And I just want to clarify that 2 wrongs don't make a right.
When you say there's no smoke without fire and 2 wrongs don't make it, do you want to clarify what you mean with that? Wallah,
yeah, of course. Like, for example, it's easy for us to judge and have opinions and views on this young man's circumstances. But 2 wrong, the reason why I said there's no smoke without fire is, firstly, there was certain, from his upbringing, there were certain things that he was lacking. Right? He was lied to, he was made to believe something that he wasn't, or maybe he wasn't given the full information. So like the wrong is not so much on him, it's per se of like where he came from. And a lot of us, unfortunately, our parents didn't do a well enough job for us to be able to understand, some of the issues that we might face in life. And because we didn't have that structure, we didn't have that ability to be able to have sustainable skills in life set, like, not to this boy right now who, like I said, he's fear, like he's very fearful. He's fearful. I'm sure he might feel quite differently, I don't know, but what I'm picking up on is someone who's got fear, and someone who just wants to belong, wants to be accepted, and unfortunately, and brother, if you're listening, just moving forward, advice that I guess I would say is, please don't put yourself in these situations, because this would be re-traumatizing, because now you put yourself in a situation where these brothers don't understand where you're coming from, or maybe they don't have the right answers for you, and by him being there, it's almost like he'll get, you guys got your guard up. Now it's become 2 fears, people that are in a ring trying to, overcome one another.
It's become gladiatory now, isn't it? You can see it, where it's moved from the topic where it's, even me, slowly by slowly, I can see an ego sort of thing coming up. You know what I mean? I have to be man enough to say there was an ego moment after a little while.
And we all have that, Khalid. We all have that. And you know what? This is, like I said, this is a very brave thing to do for both of us, to be on here, to open up and to express this, because this is what's happening in a lot of our homes. You know, this
Yes.
is how we treat one another, and sometimes we're not doing it consciously. So I want us to know that there is no shame. Like, the whole purpose of experience is for us to learn. This is why
Yes.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brought us into this world, is for us to make our wrong right and be able to, inshallah, you know, find higher consciousness in terms of our levels of consciousness. So yeah, alhamdulillah.
Okay, I think this is the bit. I think
They're
it
allowing
goes.
it, but they're gonna
A lot of people, you don't speakers corner. This is speakers corner. So a little bit of it.
He doesn't.
There's a bit well all
I
over.
believe
To hide for me. I want to see what mod. No. So
They don't.
let me get to the bit.
Either I don't.
You make so the brother comes back. I think he comes back. There's a lot of hate.
He's free to get your father first.
I just wanted to ask how you slander.
Aspect the mother is really, they don't look at you.
Yeah, facts.
It can't make it as a Somali problem that we're sorry.
No, but it's making us on our own platforms where we talk about other things and we're talking about our family building, the Somali man and woman. Why you coming over here with your bullshit? Like, we don't want to hear it.
Yo,
he came on and said he wanted to marry a Somali girl. That's a bit weird, but you know.
For me, so it's just, I've heard this in you know, so many times the speakers call and I keep Somali girl about whatever in it, yeah. But again, he keeps saying this Islam thing. Why do you keep mentioning Islam? It's nothing to do with Islam. It's just about ethnicity, bro. And bro, just go do your thing. And this conversation, I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't really entertain stuff like this. Even when a sister come on this bullshit, I was like, go do your thing. We're here to build Somali things and Somali things. If you're here to, obviously, sis, I have to fast forward it because, you know, I want to bring other panelists on and all of that. But it got to a situation, obviously, we were going back and forth on the chats because the brother felt like, you know, he got kicked off. So he's firing in the chats, you lot are discriminating. You know them ones. And it's like, oh, and it wasn't really like that, but let's try to get into the bit where we're here to talk about.
ويركادي مرنا ka dhigin meesha.
So he comes
Okay,
back.
akhi Cabdiraxmaan. Af Soomaaligaada waa ila rooyay aniga dad badan baan dhaantay hadda. Okay, su'aal baan ku hayaa kale. Hooyada waxaa tiri waa ogaadeen xagee ka timid? Dalka weligaa may ku geyso dadkii have you ever been back? Ma garataa? Xagee tagtaa? Wajeer baa tagtay marka ogaadeenka jigjiga degan matiida waxaa ta kuwa gaarisa iyo dhinacaas maxaa jigjiga u tiri marka hore marka
Okay. I think brother Ahmed, I didn't even spot that bit. I think the brother said 2 different cities. Do you get where I'm coming from?
Right.
So, you know, it's probably Kabila based, but let's just skip that. I don't think that's...
Who cares? They have nothing to do with each other.
Yeah, you're right.
It's big tribe.
You're right. Yeah, I know. You're right. But Wajer and Garis Watag.
Wajer and Garis Watag. How long have you spent?
So from the idea of the day.
Parents don't like.
Where is it?
If I can.
There's FA. I think FA jumps in.
He's only 21.
Dad, and maybe that's
our fault, but not really because we gatekeep properly. We don't claim these people, bro. You know what I mean? Like we don't have a problem with their existence.
No, we don't.
Why are you coming to us?
Somali there.
Yeah, be mixed, man.
Yeah.
It's like they're trying to.
And nothing wrong with being mixed. Nothing wrong with that. Listen, let's not make it sound like he's wrong as well. But the platform he's jumping on it's not associated with it. That's the problem. That's the only thing we have to issue with.
The thing is, they think Somali like me, bro. I'm a nationalist conservative, bro. I don't play with that dumb shit, bro. I'm a nice guy. Like, do your thing, marry that Somali girl. You got a blessing.
No. You know it is. There's this whole victim mentality going around.
Yeah, but he sees that the parents don't like him.
No. There's this whole there's this whole victim mentality going around. Like if you don't accept that I'm, this or that, then you guys are, inherently bad. And that's the thing. The Somali guys are being like painted as inherently bad because we were trying to follow.
I don't think. Look, you see the brother saying I made a mistake here. I don't think you did make a mistake, brother. I think it's not a mistake, Akhi. It's you're taking things out of context. Look, we're bringing up.
I don't know what the brother took personal, Khalid. I don't know. I mean, you guys were all civilized. I asked him a few civilized questions, and then he goes, "I don't want to air my dirty laundry on."
But you comment on, but you told us all of this.
But then the funny thing is, right, I never asked him anything personal. How come
But he's the one who told us that he's half Mauritius and half.
But not even that. It's a general question I asked. I asked, how come your father's side didn't step in the way they were supposed to? Were they not around? Did they not live wherever you grew up? And then he goes, oh, there's issues there. And I don't, okay, if there's issues there, then turns out we were right.
It's you who pointed out that the issues is. You could just avoided it. We don't know.
But I already said it prior he came.
Yes, sis. To give you a quick synopsis, there was a bit where he came up and when we asked him, look, haven't you got hadid with your dad's side of the family? So, just do this. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear.
So when we asked him hadid with your other side of the family, it got a bit sticky where he's like, oh, I don't want to reveal that on live, but I don't have hadid, I don't have connections with them. So then it got to a stage where why don't you make that's you get the gist where it was a back and forth.
Right.
Yeah. I'm only gonna pay the bit where FA spoke as well. I think she dropped some serious. She came in with the sister sort of thing. So what do you think so far of what you heard?
Oh no, I honestly don't even know what to say. I don't know what to say. I feel like I really don't know what to say because I think anything I say, first and foremost, it's just going to be taken out of context. And I feel, judging by the comments, because there's a few things that comments that I've kind of glanced over, and subhanallah, I feel like we're just not ready, like mentally, emotionally, we're too triggered. We're very quick to react. We're very quick to air out our opinions. We don't listen. We're not listening to people. Like, this is not about what I want. This is not about what's good for my lineage. Like, everybody can come here and give their 2 cents, but this is not about you, right? This is not about me. There's a young brother who came, and unfortunately, his message where he said, he shouldn't have come on, like, that really made me sad because we have no sense of humanity. We don't. We're so brainwashed into, but yet we sit here and we want to, praise and say we want to make our country better. We can't even agree on the comments. We're here dissing people. We're here talking negatively. We're here belittling other people. Ridley, I'm so sorry, but your behavior is disgusting. It's disgusting. You a lot of the things you say, I agree with. And I think you have great points. But brother, the way you speak to women, you said to Faye, hey, go and sell yourself in revert jail. Like, I'm sorry, Khalid, wallahi, like, your channel, I really enjoy watching and I love to come on and I love to talk. But I feel like this other brother who came on before talked about victim mentality. The brother summed it up. We could say the other brother was victim mentality, playing it up. But I think we love to break each other down. Men, women, I feel like we have no sense of moral compass. And please, the only thing I can say to us, let's pray. Half of us, any of us on here, do we even pray Salah?
That's true.
Forget about culture and forget about all of this. What is your connection to Ilahi? When you go into Ilahi, you're not going to sit there to talk about, but he said this, he said that. Like, we're so busy and preoccupied in other people's business and how they should live that we don't even look at our own life. You're only sent here to safeguard yourself. If your lineage is so important to you, good, alhamdulillah, stick to that. But don't go now and oppress someone else and belittle them because they don't share the same view as you. Because otherwise, we will never listen to each other. Yeah, Ridley James, I hijacked the topic. You know why I hijacked it? Because of your ignorant mentality. I'm sorry. I know that sounds really out of order. No, it is, because we're all ignorant. And this is not just to him. We're all ignorant because we don't seem to understand how you connect to people is by listening. If we don't listen, we're not going to even understand each other. But if I'm here just saying to you, this is my opinion, you have to believe it. But yet we're sitting here saying, no, I'm not pressuring anyone. Everyone's free to do whatever they want. But no, we all have a sense of entitlement. You're ignorant, like, you're weak in your stance. You know what? I might be Ridley. And you know what? May Allah guide me.
Shall I open up the floor?
Please put it on the floor. I'm
open. Let's open up the floor, man. Let's open up the floor. Guys, ladies and gentlemen, the link's in the chat. Let's make this into a conversation. Now let's carry on, sister. Let's carry on. So we all got a gift.
You know what I don't like, Khalid, yeah? I'll be really honest, is you created a platform where we can all sit here and listen and talk to one another, right?
Yeah.
And have
Across
a dialogue.
the world
but
and speak
the thing,
over here.
yeah, the thing that confuses me is time and time again, why do we have to end things the way we do? Why does someone have to leave feeling like they don't feel like they belong? Why does someone have to leave? Yeah, like when a Timachile or someone else or an Asian person or any other ethnicity comes on, we're very quick to be like, yeah, welcome, welcome. But then, when it comes to someone else doing the same thing, we're very quick to judge. So I'm not saying this is right or this is wrong. I'm leaving this for us to make our own individual decisions. But my problem is, why do we have to belittle one another? Why do I have to put myself above you for me to feel like I'm important and that I'm valued? Like, it just does not make sense. That's just ignorant mentality. That's what Ilahi tells us not to ascribe to.
MashaAllah, mate. And I hope this is a learning point. Abdi Gais is on as well. Assalamu alaikum. Alaikum assalam.
Wa alaikum salam. I'm listening to the conversation. I'm enjoying it so far. Wallah.
So do you want to kick back and have you got anything to say?
I think I've been talking for a while, so maybe the brothers can take the floor.
Okay, Ridley, you've jumped on. You want to say something? Because you've been chatting.
First and foremost, man, thanks you for letting me on, Khalid. I appreciate everything you've been doing. You know.
Thank you.
Secondly, to all my haters and to all the to everyone that
please
said,
no profanity.
No profanity. Don't worry. No. It's PG.
Okay.
PG. Yeah. But yeah, I stand on what I said. I don't retract any statements. And the lady on the panel, Sister Therapy, like what she was saying. She was saying I'm ignorant, right? And then that I say vile things. But this is what happens when you get in the lines. Then, right? You can't expect me. I only respect Khalid for his panel, so I try to watch what I say. But if it was up to me, I would say some even worse stuff, to be honest. Because I'm not gonna sit here and watch people lie about my culture. You can come from me not speaking, so it doesn't change anything. Like, I don't know why people don't understand what lineage and bloodline is. You can't control that. You can control culture. Tomorrow I can learn what the hell I want to learn, speak how the hell I want to speak. But at the same time, you're the reason why our culture and our people are weak. You're giving this sympathy, empathy. Have that for your own kind, miss. Go do something. Don't talk to me about what I should or shouldn't do. I could do whatever I want to do. If I see a homeless white man begging for money, I don't give a shit. It's not my issue. Excuse my language. I don't care. I could care less.
Can you just tone it down a little bit?
No, because it's just because she
tone it shaitan kaskanar wallah. Deep breath. Just tone it down a little bit.
Okay,
you know those one. At the end of the day, and Sister Talk, when you say she ain't done nothing for the community, Sister Talk stood up here with me for 4 hours and we raised £1,000 for the Somali community. Sister Talk has come on this panel numerous times, wallah, numerous times, my brother, yeah. Come out here and supported on mental health, supported on so much stuff here. So please, when you say she ain't done nothing for her community, we could start calling out, what the fuck you doing for your community?
Bro,
again and again,
I do a lot for my community,
at the end of the day,
you're
on a live chat right now, yeah, belittling Habla Somali because they don't have the same opinion with you. I haven't been, again, my phone was gone. I haven't been looking at the chat, but for you to come on this panel and accuse our sister, one of the Sister Talks that came on here, literally spent hours and hours raising funds for Hospital.Somalia, and I could show you this, my brother, and we don't hide our stuff. Our work is up there 24/7, so please,
my work is
please.
There too.
And my sister came up here, spent hours and hours organizing.
Yeah, but your sister speaking ill of me and talking about me when I can't even defend myself on the chat. That's some BS. I never said nothing. Bro, look at the chat. I was talking to other females, not her.
But how you talking to the females? How you talk to Somali women?
These females were coming at me, bro. That's the thing people don't get. And why we have to be sensitive to women, bro. I don't care about that, bro. I'm gonna be straight up. What the heck? I respect women that I want to respect, and I don't respect the ones I don't. I don't give a shit, bro. Like that's exactly what I'm trying to say, bro. I'm trying to be respectful and shit. That's what I'm doing. But at the same time, these
you're right. But listen. One sec. The issue.
Let him finish his point. Let him finish his point, and then you come through.
Yeah.
And we're gonna let Sister Talk speak.
Everything I said, like I said, I stand on it when it comes to culture and lineage. I don't care what people do, but don't lie on my people's name. Don't go take your half breed and go. I want to see what happens. You're gonna see. This is the issue. Why you have to be a very strong individual. You have to cut off the dead people. You know what I mean? There's a lot of dead people in this chat and in our community. People keep dragging them along. There's no mercy. I don't have no empathy and sympathy. I'll leave it right there.
Okay, so basically our issue is people, they don't want to know what's right. What do we think is right is not right in someone else's head. Like as he said, the issue on what do you call it, identity, yeah. Some people have strong views about it, and other people might not have strong views in it. But at the end of the day,
look, we're here to respect each other. Like, I think you are missing the point where me and Sister Talk are coming from. We're here. And I think كلمتنا of Somali ban Quarantona. That's Somali ban here. Including the guys and the girls in the chat entertaining this, because I want everyone, not just this one guy by himself in it, yeah. I want everyone, because I do see you doing disgustingness, but I've seen back and forths as well. So everyone in this chat has to take it out as well on this one, yeah. But the mihimad is well, I keep saying this, yeah. That's Somali ban. That kalana dauni. I go silan sku ayayna. I'm not on TikTok. This is not Twitter. Yeah? You people acting like incels and femicels, you guys are issues in our community right now. Just through this chat, and I hope you guys look at yourselves again. And slay Abba. And I just don't get why everyone gets so why you guys at each other. That's what I don't understand. You have an issue, a community issue that we're trying to sort out and say, you know what, some people might be going through this. We might have people that are young brothers and sisters that are really going through this deep down issue that affects them. Like the young brother did come on, it did get heated. I'm not gonna lie to you, yeah. But imagine there's look, everyone's got sisters. I know some people have sisters, some people don't, yeah. And something like this happens to our sister, and there's kids growing up, and maybe there's kids listening to this panel that are half whatever and listening to us, yeah. Please, my brothers and sisters, just one thing on this panel, just respect each other. Respect each other. If you don't get along, guys and girls, that goes for you, Ridley, that goes for Faye, and all these people that keep doing this. Please, please, please. Slayaba. Stop entertaining it, because Faye, you were entertaining it as well. Like, Runta on on both sides as well. Because if we're going to get at Ridley for instigating this, we're going to get at these people for fucking, what's it called? Entertaining it. Slayaba, all of you, man. Wallah.
I apologize on air to Faye here anyway. I said some bad stuff. Hopefully she accepts it.
No, I'm not saying no. She's saying I didn't do it. I'm saying entertaining this. Just leave. You know, when you see things like this as well, just don't entertain it by doing trigger finger back. Because it's a back and forth. All I'm saying, all of you take responsibility. That's Somali bani, wallah. That's all I'm trying to say. That's Somali bani, and look at yourselves back in the chats. That's all I'm trying to say. Slay Yaba in well. You get where I'm coming from. That's it. It's just both sides. Let's end it. And let's get back to the topic anyway, yeah? Sister Talk. You had a couple of Sister Talk. Do you want to come in and answer some of the things that Ridley said there?
Yeah, of
course.
So
you could at least defend yourself.
Of course. So for
I'm
me,
going to be back in 5 minutes here. So please, Sister Talk, Ridley and Abdul Qais. I don't even need to talk to Sister Talk. Please respect the panel, Ridley. Please, wallah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Inshallah.
I'll come back in 5 minutes. Rids, you there, my bro?
Yeah, I heard you, bro. Don't worry, PG,
no,
man.
PG, thank you, my brother. Please, and
PG,
just tone in your wallah. Please, it's a family thing. We're all family at the end of the day, brother.
I got you.
Okay.
So, going to the comments Ridley made. So, Ridley, I never said that the things that you were saying is, for me, what I found that was quite ignorant. I did also address that a lot of the things you said, I am very much for it. I do believe us as women, there is this, brainwashing that's happening. I do believe that there's some brainwashing that's happening with men. So to keep the lineage and to make it something that is important and vital, if we don't protect it, we're going to cease to exist. We're going to be extinguished. So I hear where you're coming from, and I agree with everything you said. But the thing that I had an issue with, and I think Faz mentioned, where he said, the brother just made the comment or a statement, and that I should ignore the comments. Yeah, you know what? You might say that, right? And that's your opinion, and I think you're entitled to your opinion. But when I'm on here and I feel like there's no there's no community, there is no connection. Like, what is the point of me? Like, I've been up since God knows what time this morning. I had a whole work that I needed to do, and then Khalid brought this topic up, and I was like, hey, this is something that we can all benefit from. I didn't even watch the video until about an hour before we were due to live. And I'm sitting here eating my lunch.
Okay, sister talk.
I'm not sitting. No. Can I just finish? So
Yeah.
So I just want to say, so for me, when I come on here, I feel like it's something that we should all benefit. There's something that we should all take from here, whether it's even me being corrected and me being pulled up and said, you know what, Nour, this doesn't make sense. I don't agree with you. Constructive feedback, we're open. I'm open to it because you know what, I'm willing to improve. I don't have all the answers and I'm here to listen. But what I don't like is when I see people that are talking in a very negative and derogatory way about someone. Like when you mentioned about the comment, yeah, you know what, Faye can defend herself. She entertained it as well, the sister. You both were going. I didn't need to intercede in it. But for me, when you speak to a woman like that, Ridley, I'll be honest, as a sister, as someone who has a woman identity, it feels a bit triggering. Because it's like, okay, you might have a certain view of women, you might perceive them. Some women might, carry that narrative and you guys can go back and forth with it, whatever it is. But for me, it hurts because I'm not here playing with my time. I'm here to try and say, okay, as a community, we're destructive to one another. What can we do, inshallah, to get better? Inshallah. So that's all I wanted to say. So if for that reason, if you felt like I was coming to you directly and that's how it might have come across, I want to wholeheartedly apologize because for me, what you're saying makes sense. I agree with it. But your language is what seems to trigger me. And the reason for that is I'm a human being. When you call another woman a prostitute and she should go and sell herself, I'm sorry. I feel the same way when you guys feel when women on the comments talk about men and say men are waste man and men are this and men are that and Somali men are, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Like, I also feel hurt there as well. So it's not one or the other. It's just like, what can we do? We're here now. Ilahi gave us this opportunity. What can we do? What can I do differently to affect, inshallah, someone else's thought process? Whether they take it or not, because at the end of the day, I'm accountable to Ilahi. I'm here for Ilahi's sake. No one's paying me. I get no benefit, no joy. None of you need to subscribe to my channel because Ilahi is the one that's taking me forward or wherever I need to go with the plan of Ilahi. So I just want to say that I don't come here for clout, for show. I come here because I want to do something beneficial and work for my akhirah.
And sis, thank you for always coming by, sis. And no one ever forced you. You've always come by. You've always supported the channel, and I much appreciate it, and a lot of the audience appreciate it. So anyone that's giving you stick here, F them.
Yeah, so I got something to look. I think I can't
Your
the
mic,
fact that
what's wrong with your mic, man? What the hell? You
my
chewing
bad.
on the mic or something?
So aside from the fact that obviously Ridley, he's got his own strong opinions, yeah. Aside from that fact, and him, being with the language and everything, the thing is, yeah, what he's saying is absolutely correct. Like in the macroscopic view of it, yeah, forget the details. What he's saying is 110% correct, and that is what we, like the rest of the guys, I think, yeah, what do you call it? That's what we subscribe to. That's our mode of like thinking. That's our mode of operandi. That's how we operate, and nothing's gonna change it. Maybe we might need to use like a softer tone to maybe bring that across, but in a grand scheme of things, nothing's gonna change.
Are we
So
talking
can
about
I just
lineage? Go ahead, sister. Go ahead.
Sorry, I just want to say, can I say I agree? I'm not sitting here not agreeing to anything that any of you brothers have said. And when you said about a softer tone, I don't think you even need to change your tonality. All I'm saying is let's speak like you human beings, like we have some etiquette and that we have some, that's not being soft. That's not speaking in a
And
softer tone.
empathy as well.
No, because some people they might not want to give empathy, and that's okay. I think we shouldn't force people to be something that they're not, because we're talking about being inclusive. So, but at least let's just understand each other. That's all I'm saying. Let's understand each other in a respectful tone.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. There's no need to be calling that out. But if you get back to the can we get back? Let's get back on track right now, innit? Yeah. And Do you wanna Ridley? Go ahead. Do you wanna go through and say what you gotta say?
Oh man, like I said, everything what I said in the chat, man. Like I don't know, it's simple mathematics, right? I'm just I'm gonna gatekeep my culture. Like I'm not gonna accept the bastardization of the Somali identity. It's pretty simplistic. We're not going to bastardize. We're not going to say a one parent, especially a female, can give Somali people identity. That's the false. The weaker gender, or the gender that has been quote unquote plays the oppressive role throughout her history, one I wants to say she has more influence over the child. And when she can't give the name, your child bears a foreign name, child bears another man's seed, which I as a man will never respect. You will never be equal to me. I'm protecting. I'll be honest. I'm protecting my identity. It's the only thing I have. I grew up.
When
Not a
you
lot
when
of
you say
people.
equal with me, it
No, let me
seems like
finish.
I'm.
Let me just.
Go ahead.
I'll tell you. Equal meaning like his blood is not equal to mine. As humans, we're all equal, but he's not equal to me. It's like, do you ever go to school? 50% means a passing grade, meaning you just passed. It doesn't mean that it's a good. Doesn't mean that it's great. You know what I mean? It just means you just passed. He's 50% of me. So how the hell is he gonna claim my identity? This is not just a Somali issue. This is a mixed people issue. Whether it be East Asian or white, anything with white, they always want to claim the color people. They always want to claim why? Claim your whiteness too. Why are you
Yeah,
ashamed?
can I make
Why?
a point there,
Let
Rafi?
me finish, bro. Let me finish. You'll get your
Hey,
time. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't make sense. They're trying to bastardize our culture. This is not a Somali. My issue is not about marrying out. I could care less. I'm not like these other dudes out here. I could care less because you're never gonna be accepted in my community, whatever I do. If I hold a fundraiser for my ethnicity and you bring in a half breed, you better walk right where you came from. Don't play that shit. I don't waste my money on these type of activities for no reason. I don't help other people unless I grew up with them personally, no matter the culture. But most of the time, I help my own, and that's how I keep it 100. This is the thing that I don't get. Why do this Western society do people want to claim the weaker race? It's because it's easier to be on the top of the weaker race than to be in the stronger race, because being white is very simplistic. They don't think as more as aggressively as I do, but they already know if you're half white and you don't look really white, you're not white. Somalis is the same thing. But we have women out here saying 25%, you're still Somali. That's disrespect to me, to be honest. That's very disrespectful. And then he said, I'm being disrespectful. That's disrespectful. That's disrespectful. You can't do that. Don't bastardize my lineage. That's the only identity I have. You want me to fight for land opportunity in my own land with a 25%er? Get out of here, bro. You're a product of the West. You don't belong with my people. You don't belong with my people, bro. This is the same thing that's happening with the Asian people too. A lot of them are half white and they're travesty. They always want to claim the Asian side, but they know they can't. This is a big issue. This is a feminine issue mostly too. This is not a male issue, bro. This is why I say to my brothers, if you're looking for a proper mate, you're gonna have to find out where the source is from. It's like the Nile River. You don't look for the upstream. You look for the downstream. You go for the source. That's where you get the best.
nice analogy.
Go
Sister,
ahead, bro.
do you wanna come through? There's
Yeah,
a
of
question
course.
on the board for you as well, and do you wanna pick up on Ridley's points as well?
Yeah, of course. I think it's a good idea, because I think moving forward, we do need to have the discussions, especially a lot more of it, because I think this is the first thing that the brother, when he came on, he started with. He said that he doesn't see this issue being addressed, especially, in a way that we can talk about it, because it seems like for whatever reason there can always be mixed views or mixed opinions on the matter. So I think it's important that we can come together and talk about things in a way that is constructive, inshallah. So I think everything that Ridley said, to some respect, I agree. I've said this again countless of times. I think it's in a process, an individual view, and it's an opinion, and I have no problem with that. And alhamdulillah. The only thing that I would say is, or I would maybe a question that I would put to Ridley is, okay, so I agree with what you're saying and I understand where you're coming from, but say now, like this young brother who came on, who's mixed race or who's half and half. Okay, so are we going to blame him for the choices that maybe their ignorant parents made, or maybe their uneducated parents, or whatever their experience was? Are we going to blame him for that? And because of that reason, are we now going to exclude him? And if that's maybe not the case of what you think we should do, what do you think then we should do moving forward? or do you think we should do nothing?
Okay. I'm gonna answer those questions bits by bits. First things first. He's not my problem. I could care less about that kid. I was being nice to him and respectful when I first met. I could care less. He's from Mauritania. He's Somali. He's coming on some sob BS. That's not my problem. As far as community accepting him, I can't speak for the Somali community. We're diverse. It's only the women that accepted him. That's what I seen yesterday. And the males were iffy. Most of them didn't. They didn't care. I could care less. I don't see him as my brother. That's what it is. Secondly, I'm not out here to empathize with nobody else with their identity issues. That's between you and your hoyo. That's not between me. You know what I mean? That's none of my problem. My issue is this. Why do we have people going about saying my kid is Somali with a foreign man seed? For me, this is how my brain works, right? Maybe I'm different. Maybe God gifted me with some rationality. If you want a kid that is Somali, why don't you want a Somali partner to create that kid? That's what I think, right? Because if I date a Japanese and I breed a Japanese and say, oh, my kid is Somali, how? He got breastfed by a Japanese. His mother eats with chopstick. She's a fair-skinned woman. She doesn't cook her food. She just eats it raw. Is that and that's half his genetics. And now I'm claiming that child is just like me. I'm delusional. Even I'm rational. I know he's not. But why is it hard for you females? Because the man banished, left. Now he just grew up with the culture. Why do people equate culture to blood? Culture and bro, we have people that are white who embrace African American culture. We have people that are Arab who embrace Japanese culture. Culture, anyone could take culture and language. You can learn. I speak English better than I speak Somali, but am I still English? No. But why is there's some losers on the panels? I'm not on the panel, on the comments saying, "Oh, speaking Somali that makes you Somali." Okay, cool. A lot of people are Somali then. That's cool. JD is Somali then. That's cool. That's cool. We're right. That's what it is. It's not the alkaline futures, the 3B, 3C hair, brown or dark skin, being born, be having 7 generation descendants from somewhere within the Somali dominated regions. Those things don't include just speaking of Somali. That's cool. But that's to me that's just disrespectful because it's a lie. We practice a certain way of things. We're homogeneous. Simple as that. Going answer to your question, that guy is not my problem. I do not care about mixed people. Their existence is nothing to me. It doesn't matter. I'm not gonna mad they exist. I just don't like when they claim me. Why do they want to do that? Why always? It's because the mother, or my mom's. It's like it's making us feminine. We're becoming like East Asian, where a bunch of our females are breeding and then not giving these kids and throwing them to the community. We don't f with you, bro. We don't play like you. We don't support that. Like real talk. Like we don't care what you do, but don't bring them in our community. Live in the West. Go be multicultural in London and Toronto, where everyone's a half breed. Now with us and our community, we keep to each other, bro. Like, let's be real. Stop this, bro. If you want to do it. But that's not who we are. You know what I mean? We live a certain way of life. That's why everyone uses Islam as a safety net. Like it's more than that. Oh, we're all Muslims. Yeah, I don't hear Arabs say that. Arabs damn well know they're gonna breed an Arab, vice versa. You know what I mean? It's a joke thing, bro. It's a joke thing, man. It's a female issue to be honest, bro. Because Somali man keep their shit down low, bro. You're not gonna hear no Maya Jama fighting to be Somali, bro. She's confident in that shit. All the men too, all the Somalis born hybrids from males are all confident. That's one thing we do, man. We either invest or straight boom, we vanish. And then it's still they rep it, they don't rep it. That's what I'm trying to say, man.
Yeah, man, I agree. Let me just put a word in. I was gonna say one thing. There was a guy, I think it's called Ryan Giggs, yeah, pro United footballer, did all the bits. But guess what? Like a year ago, he got slapped with a harassment charge, didn't it? And I was just remembering that my man is actually a quarter black, so he's 3/4 white. And guess what? My man didn't even let him off. Because he's got a bit of fame, popularity, blah blah blah. Normally, with the usual celebs or whatnot, they obviously let them go on a sly one. But you can also see with these guys, obviously they're not even letting 25% go, and we've got an issue now because we don't accept 50%. You get me? So I think the issue, I think sometimes we as a people are actually more accepting. Don't we actually think? But ever to each and to their opinion.
Yep. Sis, you wanna come through?
Yeah, of course. So I have Thank you for the comment, brother. So I have a comment for Ridley. So again, I hear what you're saying, but when you say that it's, firstly, you said it's a women thing, right? And you know what? Rightly so. Maybe it is, because at the end of the day, women are the gatekeepers of their womb, of the womb space. So they're the ones that are, giving birth. So I have two questions. So one is, okay, so moving forward, do you think we should take accountability, because a lot of the households that these women come from were raised by men, right? So who should we blame in terms of the accountability? And the other question that I also have to you, maybe if you could answer that, and then inshallah I'll follow it up with the other one.
Yeah. Basically, this is a personal choice. Let's not bring parents into this, man. I know countless of parents that raise their kids with their head screwed on right, especially in Canada, no matter ethnicity, and they still fall into the negativities or the the wrong path in life. These women choose this lifestyle, and becomes a new venue, and then they learn the hard way. My only stance is protect my lineage and protect my community from no disrespect, but from people that are very open with their own
Sorry,
foreign.
really, to cut you. Sorry,
Yeah.
is this brother Abdurrahman from last night? The other stream.
Assalamu alaikum, brother.
Alaikum
How you doing?
assalam. Thank you for
Alaikum
coming.
assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Jazakallah for coming on. Thank you very much.
No worries, brother.
And brother, I just wanted to say, in the last stream, YouTube cut it off because we played the little advertising thing with the Olympics,
Yeah,
so it was taken down. So we streamed it back. I just want to say, can we forgive each other for the sake of Allah because of the way we spoke to each other, my bro?
Yeah, 100%, brother. Wallahi, everything's fi sabilillah. Like, you're my brother in
Fi
Islam.
sabilillah.
Like, there's no
Thank
bad
you.
blood. Yeah.
Thank you. That's all I wanted to, just clarify it so it's out there, and there's none of that because it got heated. But we're gonna let Ridley finish, and then we're gonna let you come in, brother, after, yeah. And then just it's much better coming from you now because you're here now, and we can have another crack at it. Go ahead, my Ridley. So finish up, and then we're gonna let the brother come in.
Yeah, basically, that's just to answer your question. Is like, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't blame the families, because if even there was a father there, he wouldn't even allow his daughter to, like, he would make it hard. Like, there's countless stories I've heard where Somali woman genuinely wanted to marry out, and it was living hell because the father didn't want to do it, but it still happened because she was determined to let it happen. So a good father doesn't let this happen. I don't want to be disrespectful, but what kind of father that cares about his daughter is going to let her be married by galos, practically, to convert just to hit it from the back? Like, that's the reality. That's what the shame comes from. And then they get the half breed, and then they bring them to the community. That's making us weak and feminized. We don't accept that. Strong communities are gonna say, nigga tug, we don't need you. Like, we're not gonna kill you, we're not gonna touch you, but we sure as hell not gonna give you our last piece of bread. You live in the West, there's a welfare system, use it. Straight. That's how it is. And then the worst embarrassing part is some of these women say, oh, and now I'm considering Somali man. And I'm like, bro, don't ever try to say that shit again. Sorry, excuse me, don't ever try to say that again, even to the ones in the panel, or even the weaker beta ones. Because why would we take a woman when we weren't her first choice? Why? This is the issue with Somali men too. They invest too much in Somali women and they get nothing in return. That's the issue, especially the new generation. They're getting nothing in return. There's little investment when the woman is using whatever. You as a man, you're more powerful than her because you actually have a personality, and people can actually, if they like you for you. You're not part of the hierarchy of society. You're not part of the, like, you know what I mean? You're not giving media coverage. You don't have people trying to gas you up on some fake thing. Like, people really rock with you. Utilize that and you're gonna live nice, bro. I myself have experienced a lot of Somalians I know, especially maybe it's a Toronto thing. We benefit, even with all the negativity, we benefit off our name, bro. That's what you guys in London gotta do too. I'm not talking about, like, these, don't disrespect these females, are only, it's their looks. What happens when you age? What happens when you hit 30s and 40s? Things are not gonna be the same. We've seen the evidence. We've seen it. They want to just have sex with you, and then they use marriage. It's sad. And then they leave. And then now it's done because, like, what's the point? I already got what I wanted. The womb. I got access to it. Now she has a half breed. Bro, there was even, I posted it. This is my last statement. I posted a video to Kala on Instagram. It was a Bengali girl. She married a Ghanaian in Austria. Her parents allowed it. He converted to Muslim. Then 4 months later, while she was pregnant, he left her. And then she tried to come back to the community, and the community judged her. It was basically like the typical stories you hear in London. but this one was a Bengali girl in Austria. And you see what happens when you follow love and lack of compatibility, and you go outside completely different cultures. If it's not genuine, it's never going to last, especially when it's mixed. It never works. Now then you see what happened. She wanted to go back to her community, and that's the issue. We're not fixing your mess, especially as women. You have to take accountability for your actions. When I go to jail and I do 12 years, my mom knew who's gonna come and give me food. Nope, 12 years is too long. I gotta take my responsibility. That's how men become stronger, because they don't have no one to hold their hands. Once you hit puberty, you're on your own, buddy. You see it in the wildlife. When the lion gets mature, his father banishes him from the thing because he can now fight him to take control of the pride. So now he has to go find his own pride. That's how life works. But go ahead, though. Your turn.
So now I'm really sorry. I think the brother wanted to jump on. So just something that you said that caught my attention, and I wanted to clarify, Ridley, is that you said you care about your own and that you're only going to take care of your own. And rightly so, that's your opinion, right? And then you also said in the same breath that if there are men who have raised their daughters really well, and I'm assuming if you hypothetically, if you had a daughter and you raised her well and she went against your wishes, isn't that still going to be part of your problem?
I mean, realistically, you see, I was always thinking about this, but this aspect of it. But that's me failing. Then, if I raise a daughter properly, I'm in her life, and she brings me a non-horner, I failed. I would accept the marriage hands down. But you won't see me in your child's birth. You won't rock. I won't be around you. If you, I won't make it uncomfortable. But you won't see me. Like, I won't be around you. Like, I'm not gonna fake it. I grew up so Somali. Like, we didn't celebrate Christmas. We're only around Malis. That's all I know. Even me, I'm there's a lot of people in the comments are delusional. I was liberal once too. I was young once too. But I was, what's called growing up, aging, becoming more conservative. That's just natural. You start to see the realities of life. I'm not gonna share these. That's what I don't get. If you're gonna use Western ideologies for Somali, use the ones that are similar, like conservatism, nationalism, fascism. These things are similar to how we think. Almost sense of try. Liberalism is not something, or open mind is not something that we have. And even if we should be open-minded or liberal, it's to our own. That's first and foremost, not to foreigners. Somali's showing love to mixed people, to foreigners before their own, is the reason why we're in the position that we are. Reason why we got non-Somalis in southern Somalia doing all kind of madness, but they're not doing. They wouldn't dare do that in Somaliland. You know what I'm trying to say? That's just a fact, because we'll slaughter them.
So can I just say? So I think. Thank you for answering that and for clarifying for me. So we can sit here now and talk about these kind of issues as people who are from a diaspora background, but then we know, like, a lot of these issues, they're things that our grandparents and their parents also faced, because we know even within the Somali community, if we just exclude, going even outside of that, and we just hone in on our own internal system, well, we know of women who have had children out of wedlock. We know in Somalia there's a particular hospital where women would have intercourse with men that they weren't allowed to, or I guess the families refused, and they would go and dump the baby there for people to take care of them. So you'd call them like children that don't have a father. I don't want to use that word. Then we also know that people have run away together, like the countless of stories that we hear of, some of even our parents who've like come from different tribes and different, kind of areas, and they weren't allowed to marry, and they ended up running away together and kind of getting outcasted, almost disowned from that. So I feel like these issues that we're facing, yes, we might be facing it a lot more intensely because we live in a very in like a pot stirring system where we're exposed to so much now because of the internet. But at the same time, I feel like we should also acknowledge that we had a lot of these problems even in Somalia, and we shouldn't almost kind of like sugarcoat things and say, oh no, this is a new issue. This is a very well known issue that's been documented. So I just wanted to clarify that as well.
And ladies, guys, I think the brother that started this whole topic, he's on the panel. Brother, how do you think we've been handling this conversation, especially through the streams? And do you want to add your 2 cents on anything? how you feel and just explain to us.
No.
So you're the main man right now. You are the main man.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, brother, go ahead. The floor's all
Hey.
yours.
Yeah, alhamdulillah, yeah.
The floor's all
No,
yours. Let the brother
no,
go
definitely,
ahead,
brother.
bro.
It's,
Jazakallah come through. Fadlan.
yeah, it's definitely interesting from both sides, to be honest with you. But I think on my side, as a half Somali, as a mixed person, I think one thing I just want to clarify, like, I never been trying to beg it, like, to be Somali or saying I'm full Somali, I should be accepted as Somali. Like, Allah created me as mixed, so alhamdulillah, that's the way I am, for example. But it's just that you people, this community, is the people that I grew up with. And I know it's just like one thing where like someone's always going to be attached to the people that they grew up with. Like, for example, all the people that I love, etc., my Hoya, my aunties, my cousins, they're all Somali. So yeah, me coming onto this thing wasn't me trying to say, oh, why is it like this or why is it like that, or complaining. Like, alhamdulillah, like, I'm happy with where I am. But it's just, for example, the whole foundation of it was basically cool. Like, I'm mixed, whatever. I grew up with the Dakhan, etc. I'm gonna marry a Somali girl. So I was just thinking, like, I know, like, you should seek consultation in Allah first. You should make that, and you should seek consultation with your brothers and sisters. Like the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he seek consultation with his Sahaba. So I was just like, I thought it was just relevant. So I just wanted to ask, like, cool, let's say for example, I married a Somali girl, etc., and I'm raising a family.
This is the question I wanted to ask you, brother. This is the question, Abdurrahman, I wanted to ask you. Are you married, or is this a hypothetical? You asking us in a hypothetical if I was to, or is this happening? This is why I got confused.
Like, yeah, no, so it's actually happening. So, like I said to you, initially the reactions, like, for example, there's this girl that I met, alhamdulillah, she's a 10 out of 10, mashallah. She's Somali, she's a Muslim, she fears Allah, etc. And I'm gonna get married to her, etc. But I think the question between me and her was, like, she knows about the situation. Like, she's not going to Spain and saying, "Oh, our kids are going to be Somali," whatever. But I think it's just like a question to like the audience, whatever. Like, what's the best way to raise my child? Like, is my child not allowed to call me Arabo because I'm Somali? Like, what am I going to teach them? Like, what am I going to be raised? You see, it's like a kind of confusing thing, bro. Like, at the same time, I know it's my problem and that, and it's not really for.
Did you understand where I try to give you advice? Where do you see the brother? What I try to give you advice is like, why don't you because it looks like you're looking for identity. Why don't you go discover your other side as well? Because at the end of the day, if you haven't discovered it and you bring kids to this world, and how many times when you found out, like you told us at the age of 13, secondary school, I found out. From there, for 13 years of your life, you didn't know. You don't have a clue. You're a regular us. And it's happened to a lot of people. This has happened a lot. So there's from that day on, there was an automatic shift in you. I don't know if you realize subliminally or you probably noticed it yourself. Because this is a situation where again, every single person on this panel is full Somali, right? I think every majority of the chat is full Somali. So this is situations where I'm alien to it and everyone else is alien to it. But this has happened because we're in the diaspora. And your mom and dad, they met in the diaspora. They met in the UK or the Arab. Where was it? Here, innit? In England. You born here?
Yeah, in Europe. Yeah.
Yeah. You're in Europe. Basketball at 10. Okay, so it is a phenomenon that's happened to us. You brought a situation up where it's not discussed. Like you said, okay, this conversation is not discussed. Like you just said now, what should my kids call me, Arbo? Like, for me, isn't that another you thing? Isn't that between you, your missus, and how you raise your kids? Because one day your kids might grow up in the same way, and you might have to explain to them, well, you're not Mauritanian. And if they say, well, where's granddad? Where's the other side? And if you don't know, isn't that causing more confusion? And you're breeding more confusion.
And Khalid, you're missing out in a situation here. And with kids, their mother raises them. So, like, if she's speaking Somali, if she's a Somali woman, if she's speaking Somali, they're gonna learn Somali first. That's gonna be their first.
It's not about kids. No, I think it's gone over you. I think you're seeing something else. I'm coming from the fact where he's asked a question right now. So it's not me. I'm just asking the question he asked. Musa.
Okay.
He asked, like, okay, if my kids, what language would it be? Because I'm not Somali by calling them Arbo, and I'm trying to say to him, that's another thing. That's a you thing. As a mixture, I'm not mixed race. Wallah. Do you get what I'm coming from? I'm full Somali, just like you. Wallah. This is
what I'm saying is by default they're gonna speak Somali. It doesn't matter. I think if the sister that he's gonna marry speaks more Somali than any other language, the kids are by default gonna speak Somali. It doesn't matter if they're not Somali or not. In this case, they're not Somali, but by default they're gonna speak Somali. That's
okay. No, but I'm catching that. I understand where you're coming from, innit? Yeah, but I don't think you understand the question I'm asking him. I don't think this is what I think me and you are going like, because I'm asking the brother asked me a question. He asked the panel a question. I'm like, well, what would you do? Like, because at the end of the day, your kids are gonna go through this as well. Because sooner or later they're gonna get to an age where they're mingling around and they're gonna be around your family, her family. Like you're saying, you don't know the Mauritanian side, innit?
No,
How
I
you
don't.
like you said they cut off connections from me, right?
Yeah.
So you don't have no connection on that. For me, I tried to explain, wouldn't it be a compass of you to go find that connection for the sake of your kids?
No,
As
you're
that
right.
identity, isn't it? Because you're 21 right now, Walalo, Hoy's not holding you in the hands. Like, okay, maybe something happened between, like I said, maybe something happened between Hoyo and that side of the family. But now you're old enough to say, well, where's my uncles? Where's my people? Where's their people? And as the father of the daughter you're marrying to, I understand where he's coming from. At the end of the day, someone comes to my daughter, it's our daughter. I want to know your dad. I want to know your uncles. In our tradition, it's not your upties that go for your when you're going for a girl. It's your dad's side of the family.
Yeah, it's
So
your
the dad
dad. It's your dad.
probably
Yeah.
is your
Your dad's,
adero. So at the end of the day, there's them type of things because you're gonna be married into a culture, and the worst thing is you know the culture already. So for me, my personal advice for you would be
you're right.
in this scenario from the interaction I had from you the other day is, well, Allah, I think you need to discover who you are. And this will greatly benefit you, Wallah. That's my advice. So I'm going to give it to anyone on the panel. Does anyone else want to talk?
That's well said. That's well said.
Yeah. Ahmed, do you want to come
If I
in?
can
Because
just jump in,
and then we let WM come in after.
yes, I listened to
WM,
the
can you
part
mute your
where
mic? Yeah, thank you.
I listened to the part where you and sister talk. By the way, assalamu alaikum everybody. I listened to the part where you and sister or talk therapy. The sister
talk therapy now. It's confusing now, isn't it?
I don't want to get the name wrong.
ST talk therapy. Sorry, sis. We love you. We love you,
but the thing is, I listened to where you were analyzing it, Magarata, and so I totally agree with it. And I heard the little dispute between sister talk therapy and Ridley. And mashallah, the sister apologized. I would have liked it, Magarata, if Ridley also apologized. He didn't, Magarata. He said he stands by what he said, but it's not about that. Sometimes it's just it's good to apologize, Magarata, to clear the air. But anyway, not to bring any tension back. I'll touch on Ridley's point before I get to the brother, because I think that Ridley is being very extreme, Magarata. As a traditional person, Magarata, as a married man with a daughter, I would always want my daughter to marry a Somali guy, Magarata. But once she does marry a Muslim guy, Magarata, Arortas, Walid Baloye. And in this situation, for this brother Abdurrahman, where either his cousins or his Abtiyal Magarata. And so people should stop trying to Magarata speak in a way where they're alienating him as if he's the other. Because the Somali community are his cousins, his Abtiyal and his Havari Riyal. That's technically what they are.
That's all he knows as well.
No, but that's what they are. And then your cousins are your cousins, and then the guys are your uncles, the older ones. With Ridley, I think he's being very extreme, Magarata, because there's plenty of traditional people here on the panel. Khalid's pretty traditional. I am. Most of the panel probably are. I even think the sister is. But I think Ridley is being extreme, whereby it's like he's fighting something which isn't there. Yes, if we're sitting down together as the Somali community and people ask, should our women marry out, should our daughters marry out, we will say, hell no. It's better that they stay in our community so that we can preserve our culture. And part of preserving that culture will allow us to preserve the deen. Because I believe that once you create an identity crisis, it's easier for people to lose their language and their culture. And then the kids, once they lose their culture, Magarata, 2 or 3 generations down, they're most likely going to lose religion, or they're not going to value it as much until they get to a later age, of course, in life where they search their purpose. Allah guides who He wills. But it makes it easier to be a Muslim when you know your culture, Magarata, when you come from. To get back to the brother's point, Magarata, if I were giving him advice prior to him saying that he's fallen in love with a Somali girl, Magarata, then I would tell him, if you really want to create less dilemma and situation for yourself and your kids in the future, it would probably be best if you marry a Mauritanian girl. But then that's a silly point now because he says that magarata qof bay almadeen and everything is Arab magarata. And so yes, and so I'm not going to sit here and go against Alaf for destiny in English for whoever doesn't know it.
That's destiny.
What I can suggest for him is that
isn't Alaf
although
fate?
Alaf is more like fate and destiny.
Okay, go ahead.
Whatever is written for you anyway, it's qadar, but to do with who is written for you, you know, of the opposite sex, magarata. And so what I would recommend to the brother is, because I think, and through no fault of his own, he doesn't speak his father's language. I don't know what they speak in Mauritania. Do they speak a dialect of Arabic or do they speak Berber or some sort of language like that? I know a lot of these North African countries like Mauritania and Mali,
Arabic,
there's mixed
Berber.
communities, mixture of African and Berber and Arab.
No, their main language, I googled it. Apparently, it was the last country on earth to abolish slavery. That's kind of a bad thing. And their main language is Arabic.
Yes, I thought so, but obviously I know that.
Sorry, I had to throw that in there. You know, after I had to Google it, I've had a couple of conversations with a guy called Dan Juma in the park about Mauritania, and they've got a nasty slavery. It's a bit
every
mad.
country has its issue, but
every country has.
To my point, obviously I am quite well aware of Maghreb. I'm interested in geography and history.
Yeah,
I know that they speak Arabic there, but I also know that a lot of these North African, West African countries, Sahara, there's a melting pot of Amazigh or Berber, however you know it, and Black and Arab and so on, Maghreb and so on. And so it would be good if he could maybe at least improve if you could improve. Oh, you're here. Why should I say if you could improve your traditional language, brother? Even if you want to marry a Somali girl, because I know they'll be 3/4 Somali by the end of the day. It's your job now, and it's your role to make sure you educate your kids as much as you can about both sides, but make sure you tell them this is our cultural language, and you take them on holidays if you can. If not to Mauritania, maybe
Ahmed, you're
North
breaking
Africa,
up. You got some mad
sorry, I'm just walking back from work. But to say it again, it's his job, to raise them to learn their father's language and educate them about it, and maybe teach them the 5-6 grandfathers back and try to get back in touch with them.
That's what Ahmed. Why did you think I recommended? Why did you think I recommended? I said, bro, you're 21 right now, innit? Yeah. Whatever happened between Hoya and Hirilka, the other side, the other family, you don't have no control over that, bro. That's something between them. But what you have control now, why Ilahi is giving you Afamad and he's giving you Aql, I think your brother that, you probably work or whatever, you finance probably because you're planning to get married. Why don't you spend a couple of months researching who your family is, your lineage, Idda Tahai? Because this is going to be important, bro. Because remember, when you hit 13 to 21, the feeling that you've had in that space of years, my bro, do you really want your kids to go through that? Abdurrahman, that's a question for you, my brother. You don't want your kids to go through that, innit?
Of course not, brother.
So wouldn't it be, like Ahmed saying, wouldn't it, as a man, because you're going to be leading a family as a man, as a young man, you're going to be marrying someone's daughter, you're going to be leading, 100%. You're going to be in a leader position.
Of course,
for you to be not guided and not knowing your guidance compass and not being grounded in yourself, it's going to cause, you're going to pass that down. So my best advice is, get your couple of numbers, get the families that you do know from that side, speak to them, tribal, go on holiday by yourself before you get married. I think this will be crucial, where you jump on a plane, you go there and you immerse that side, because I think right now you suppress that side, and I think that side is going to be needed for you in the future. So I'm going to let WM, Musa or sister
if I have to say one thing quickly, brother.
After this, let WM, she's the new panelist, so we're going to let her have her say. Go ahead, my brother, finish up.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, I understand where you're coming from 100%. Like, wallahi, it's not even a thing where I wanted not to know my Mauritanian side. Like, alhamdulillah, I'm proud of it, but just imagine being cut off or being rejected by a side, and you have no control over that. For example, our cousins
and now, you've got control.
Dead.
They're dead. Is it just you? You're just the only child? Did your mum have only you?
No. I got a little brother as well. No.
You're both same mum, same dad?
Yeah, same mum, same dad. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah. Okay, WM, do you want to come through?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, he's very young. You're only 21 years old, okay? I mean, when everybody's 21, they all have that identity crisis, you know? Everybody goes through that, like, who am I in life? That's around the time you're about to or finish university, you know? That's your growing years. But for you in particular, unfortunately, this is a situation that you had no control over, you know? That was kind of qadar. But I would definitely agree with Khalid. You definitely need to do that research, because if you have kids, it's not going to be fair to them to not know this whole side of their lineage. And for Somalis, lineage is very, very important, you know. And our lineage is patrilineal. That's why we've been able to preserve ourselves. That's why we've been able to, you know, we take pride in knowing our abtiris and all that jazz, because culture and retaining your culture is not only important to your society as a whole, but as a human being. Because you can see how you not knowing one part of your identity has affected you from the age of 13 and obviously until now. Personally, I don't think there's anything wrong with you having kids and saying abo, but you have to be kind of equal. Like, learn whatever language your Mauritanian side speaks and have your kids speak that language too, because that's part of their bloodline. If you want to marry a Somali girl, you can. Islamically, it's allowed, so it is what it is. But you can't forget that Islamically, and even in our culture, the Somali culture, unfortunately and fortunately in a way, qabil is everything, right? And if you go back home and you don't have a father that's Somali, it's not going to work out for you. You know, we have minorities in Somalia that, despite being there for hundreds of years, are still not part of our society. You know what I'm saying? So, like, what do you think would happen to somebody who has it? I'm assuming your mother's ethnically Somali, right? Who has an ethnically Somali mother, but their father is not ethnically Somali. So, I mean, I wouldn't be hasty in making any types of decisions, but just know, like, marriage is not a joke. It's a really serious thing, and it's even more serious when you bring kids into the situation. It's really
That's what I'm
serious.
saying.
Yeah.
Because WM, I think I said this to Sister Talk in the beginning as well, innit? Yeah. If you're going into something lost, broken, damaged, or whatever we want to call it, whatever word we want to use for this scenario, innit? It's gonna create that and fester again. And then it's gonna manifest in the marriage. Wouldn't you guys agree? Or am I
Yes,
being
it
wrong?
will. It will, but also, like, psychologically, it has an effect on you. Honestly,
It does.
it psychologically has. That's why, you know what? That's why I say, like, I know I'm a woman, but sometimes we need to stop being emotional. We really do, because I'm reading the comments and, like, some people are just like, well, you can't forget this person's whole bloodline. I understand. Nobody's saying that does not have ethnic Somali blood. We're just saying it's patrilineal. It's about the father's lineage. And although some tribes have habar this, bah this, it's still patrilineal. We come from a progenitor that was a man. Okay. So we need to remember that, you know. And if you have daughters and she wants to marry a Somali guy, then their kids would technically be considered Somali, right? But that's unfortunately that's just how the cookie crumbles.
That's just how we are, and it's just how we preserve.
Just to add one point, the brother is very young, Magarat. In the West, I say, not in Somalia, by the way, or in somewhere else. In the West, to get married at 21 is young, Magarat, because as a married person, Magarat, marriage is not a simple thing. You both have to come into it having figured yourselves out. And if I were speaking to a Somali audience, Magarat, of your age, who are getting married, I would also say to them something similar to you, by the way, whereby I would say, hey guys, a lot of these young people in the Somalis who are getting married to each other, kudos, I like that. I'm for keeping within the culture, but then I also advocate for one more thing, which I think is a shame, which isn't happening these days. A lot of people are getting married and they're not really in touch with their culture and they don't really speak the language. And then they're passing that on to the next generation, and that's causing an identity crisis for people who are actually full Somali, because the kids don't speak their language and they don't understand the culture. And so for you as a brother who's a Mauritanian, and you're getting married at the age of 21 is very young, Magarat, and I'm guessing the girl you want to get married to is either your age or younger, and so you're both very young, and so you've got some figuring out to do. And I'm not telling you to hold it back, Magarat, but what I'm saying is you've got some figuring out to do, and you've got to figure yourselves out.
That's what I said to the brother Ahmed. I said the best thing for him to do is to discover yourself, heal all of this, whatever's going on, because I got sister talk therapy right here, and as a trained therapist, as a licensed professional, she picked up on so much things, brother, you were saying. I hope you could go back on the stream. We're gonna leave it up. Hopefully, no copyright happens to us this time. And there's things, brother, I think inner deeply learn to solve that out before you take on this responsibility of a young Somali sister. You get what I'm coming? Before all of this unfolds and unpacks, and there's children there, and this creates a havoc. Because you've already said straight away, RB, there's some people are not happy. I'm just like Ahmed. If I had a daughter, well, on my first preference is Gofin in Somalia, as to keep my lineage. If that's not my other thing is he has to be Muslim. That's the two hadiths. You get where I'm coming from, yeah. So for me, I keep really saying my young brother. I'm like, you get me? I'm 34 now. Yeah, I've got about 13 years. I was in secondary school when you were. I just think I started secondary school when you were
Oh
born,
my
innit,
god.
yeah. 98. I think that was my first year. 98 actually. Yeah, 1998. Yeah, I remember the World Cup. So I'm thinking to myself, bro, at this age, I'm discovering myself, and a lot of us could say that as well. Maybe it was a bit late, but I feel like you really need that, and I think you need that time. Someone's saying in the chat, yeah, oh, why are you gonna tell him to go to a family that doesn't want him? How do you know that Hadid, the family don't want him, but they lost that connection, and maybe he walks in through that door,
and it doesn't
they
matter.
reminds him, say if they remind him of his son, say if his grandmas or aunties remind him of their boy and embrace him and say sorry, and this is your culture. How would
listen, yeah, but it doesn't even matter if they
It's
don't
a
accept
bitter
him.
pill he
It's
has
still
to swallow.
Yes,
it's still what he is. It doesn't matter if they accept him, and you can go to that country and claim you are Mauritanian because your father is Mauritanian. It doesn't matter whether they accept you or not. It really doesn't. You are Mauritanian, whether they accept you or not. And
yes, but he has to swallow that bitter pill, right?
What pill? That they
he
might not
has to
accept
swallow
him.
the bitter. No, they will always accept the Magarata. There will be grandparents there. There will be cousins and so on, and they will definitely accept him, inshallah. But the point is, it's a bitter pill in the sense that he has to go and try to connect with people who he's never known, Magarata. That's the bitter pill. That's what I think. But he has to do it, Magarata, in order to move on to the next stage of his life.
Yeah, I
to
agree.
get clarity
he has to
as
make
well.
peace with that. You have to
Has
make
to.
peace. Like, unfortunately, I feel really bad, like, for him, because there's some compassion that we need to show, to people like him. He lost I feel a lot of compassion for people who have lost a parent very young, and he clearly lost a parent very young. Maybe he hasn't dealt with that grief properly. I would definitely suggest, first of all, if you haven't seen a grief counselor, maybe see a grief counselor and go to Mauritania. Make peace with that side, because it's gonna get worse for you if you don't actually deal with that issue. It's gonna be like, I've dealt with a family member passing away, and I've seen how it really affected my mother, especially for me as a baby, and like growing up and seeing how that still affects her to this day, and that's been like decades since that happened. So, and she was grown, so imagine him as a 13-year-old going through that. We have to remember, like, qof kan qof yar buu ahaa, agon, technically, and agons have a special status, right, in our religion. So we need to really deal with this with care, but also explain to him that unfortunately there's also a harsh reality. 21 to me is still, you're an adult, but you're not an adult. Your brain does not stop developing.
You just stepped out of being that teenager into a young adult. You've just stepped out of it. And for me, I'm not trying to say don't get married. It is barakah. But bro, like my sister said, go find yourself, and go seek professional help. The more I've got to know sister therapy and whatever, and I recommend this: go seek professional help. Because what you did something brave, Abdurrahman. I had to look back at it. I said, this brother actually a brave brother. He come on something that he shared with us, a concern that's been bugging him, and that's brave. I'm not gonna. A lot of men will do that. That's a brave step that you've took. But I think like there's more steps, and I think like us as older brothers, older sisters, I think we can only guide you in a way where, because this is guidance, and I'm learning that I'm a public figure now, and it's a bit different. So sometimes I have to switch on this type of guy, innit? Yeah, you have to, please. I feel like seek professional help. before it manifests and it gets too late, and you bring children into this and their burden, and you fuck up and,
And
say.
don't forget there's stages of grief.
Mhm.
Grief is a process, you know. Grief just doesn't go away. It's a process. So it's
No,
okay
no.
for you to fail. It's okay for you to make mistakes. We're
Mm.
human beings, you know. But just obviously you grew up more with your Somali side. It seems like you speak Somali or understand it. Mashallah, you know. And everybody's always closer to their mother's side, no matter what. You know, your
Mhm.
mother, like, she rears you
Come on.
more. You're closer. You are in her womb. You have that
Mhm.
connection. But don't forget your father's connection. That's what I'm saying.
Mhm.
Like, try to make peace with that. Try your best to go to your father's country, to your fatherland, and
Mhm.
figure it out. You might come back better.
Mhm.
Jazakallah
Sister
khair, wallah, I really
Therapy,
appreciate it.
do you want to chime in, or anyone else on the panel?
I just want to maybe add one thing. As we were sitting here, something came to my mind, and it was, you know, sometimes when we step away from Islam, I feel like we get ourselves into these webs. So even if we think of like, and this is a question to you and myself, like, why would Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in his divine wisdom create Prophet Isa, you know, without the intervention of a man? Like, for me, I mean, I've looked into it, but I would say do your own research. There's so much behind that, because as the brother, like he said, Qadr min Allah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala puts us in situations where first and foremost he knows we can handle it, because end of Surah Baqarah, the last surah, Allah tells us that he does not burden a soul with more than they can bear. So we know that whatever tests and trials Allah puts in front of us is something that we can overcome, and inshallah it will elevate us in ranks, inshallah. So I just wanted to say, like, for all of us that seem to in some ways get stuck with this web of the delusion of this world, like, we should really go back to the source, to the Quran, and understand the wisdom why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made things a certain way. Why did the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam struggle when he spoke about orphans? Like, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was an orphan himself. Like, when we lose compassion for one another, and that's where the disconnect happens, and we don't find Allah's guidance, and may Allah guide us all. The second question that sorry, I wanted to also maybe put out there to the brother is, you know, how would your mom feel about this? Because also, you know, if you've been under the care and the guardianship of your mother, and, you know, that, I guess, that side of the family, sometimes some of the blocks, as the sister rightfully said, you know, there's grief process that needs to happen, but also there is also sometimes the fear of, you know, you've lost one parent, you know, how would it, so to embark on this journey, I think is easy to say, you know, do this and do that, but I feel like there's also a lot that a person, the individual like you, the brother, Abdurrahman, is it Abdurrahman? Yeah, needs to consider is, you know, how would your mom feel? Would it cause more rift in the family? So I think sometimes it's easy, like I said, to make blanket statements, but I think it's also important to be able to reflect, inshallah, moving forward. So these are just questions that I'm putting out there. So there's no answer, inshallah.
Okay. And there's one more point I want to say, and to Ridley, I know, and Ridley, most of your understanding of the way you approach this situation is you don't understand it Islamically, like you said, and if my daughter was to marry, and I don't know if he's still there, and if you said if my daughter was to marry and someone that's not Somali that you like and neglect her and stuff like that, and in Islam, and we tend not to break family ties. In fact, family ties is very important in Islam, so we don't break them. We don't say like, and she's taken by someone else. She's still family at the end of the day. She's still got her family, and if that child wants to know his mother's side of the family, he can get to know his mother's side of the family. There's nothing wrong with that. And I'll read a surah from the Quran, and Surah 13 and verse 25. And those who violate Allah's covenant after it has been affirmed, breaking whatever ties Allah has ordered to be maintained, and spread corruption in the land, is they who will be condemned and will have the worst abode. He means, like, and the way I interpret it, that they will be cursed on earth, though those who break family ties. The family ties is held in high esteem in Islam. It's really held in very, very high esteem. It's something that Ilahi doesn't play around with. And what one of the things, and when he created us, and Ilahi created us, he took an oath from us, right, that we worship him and him alone. also there's another creation he created, family ties. He also took an oath from that. And the oath was, if someone break family ties, and that he will sever like blessings from them and stuff like that. They will be cursed, basically. So we don't mess around with it. Like I just gave that example because and the initial creation, when Ilahi initially creates something and he takes oaths, and those oaths are taken seriously, like the fact that we don't associate partners with him. Okay, that's all I wanted to say.
Okay.
Can I just clarify something that I wasn't even going to respond to, but I think it deserves a response to clarify because, Mo TV. Firstly, I think
I deleted them all.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I think firstly, like, it's good to get clarity because I feel like, again, your thought process is very much showing in terms of your conscious levels. So I'm not here to be a tyrant, and I'm not promoting single motherhood, right? We clearly established that.
Should I put that up in a board?
Yeah, put it up. Put it up.
Okay. This is what he said to you.
Yeah. So when we think of like the Quran and why we use the Quran as an example, because Ilahi subhanahu wa ta'ala sent us the Quran, right, as a guidance. So it's guidance. So what I'm saying is, when we get caught up in the web and the delusion of this world, and we seem to belittle people and put people down and create corruption and destruction with one another, we should remember the wisdom what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chose to show us certain examples. Allah's Quran is ayats, right? They're signs. So we should reflect on it. No way am I saying go and promote single motherhood. I think single motherhood is the destruction of our society. A woman and a man is what a child needs. So I just wanted to clarify that.
If I can just come in, I don't even know why you're honoring that idiot with the responses here. When somebody doesn't have the courtesy to even call you a woman or a sister and calls you a No'il, which is an insult, magarata. It's a derogatory way of describing a little girl.
That's what it was.
It's not even a little girl. When you say it, No'il, it's like, it's a,
I blocked him off my chat anyway, man. I've timed him out.
Those kind of people don't deserve.
And this is what I'm saying to the mods. Well, look, can I say something here? There's mods in my chat right now, yeah? I beg you, look, you're mods for a reason. Please time out, or I'll just clean out all the mods. Wallahi. Please. Go on, carry on, Ahmed.
But yeah, it's just that there's a time and a place for banter, magarata. If he said it on any other topic, magarata, I wouldn't care. But then we're having a serious conversation here, giving a brother advice, and then he comes over with that kind of rhetoric. It's just ridiculous. But to come back and to give the brother one more advice before I leave, I would just say, magarata, just try to get in touch with yourself, magarata, and your father's side, as difficult as it might seem. And I just like to reiterate the brother's point about severing ties. I think there's something in Islam which says you shouldn't cut ties from somebody for more than 3 days. You shouldn't keep silence from each other. There's also, I think, a hadith which goes along something the lines, if I paraphrase it, if somebody good comes to marry your daughter and you refuse it, then you are causing corruption on the land, Magarat. And so we know all of these things, but I think Brother Abdurrahman and many other people also have to understand that the only reason the Somali community might come across as a bit hostile towards interracial marriages is because we feel like that might lead to loss of culture and deen itself. Although Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who guides, but obviously it's our duty to kind of try and preserve our culture and try to teach the culture and the deen in one, not to kind of separate them. But obviously, if I've said anything offensive to you 2 nights ago or so, apologies. And I've said my few things. Inshallah, I'll speak to you guys later.
Okay. We let Hamid Shida. Do you want to come through? Hello, Hamid Muchoga. Yo, brother Hamid Shida, is he there? Yo, Mungo Sahdi. Brother Hamid. Does anyone have anything else to add?
Yeah. I got a few.
Okay. Come through. Have a say. Then we let Rudy.
Interracial marriage. I saw your notification earlier. I'm gonna definitely jump on. laakiin waa xilligii bay ku dhamaadayba meesha haye muxuu haya really caadi buu wadaa
No, عادي maaha. In panel kan aan usoo galay, I think habeen do it. Let me give you a quick story in it, yeah. Inan kan Abdurrahman waa half Somali. Swaluna weydiiyey, waan ka jawaabnay. Do you understand where I'm coming from? And
yeah.
waa la isku xanaaqayna. At the end
maxaa la isku xanaaqay
inan Somali buu doonay kurso half Mauritania, half Somali, but Somali baa soo korisayna. Ma fahamtay?
Somali waa soo koriyey so afka
So dhinaca kale weligiis muu arag so wuxuu taagan maxaan sameeyaa what is it familygii baa yara cabaaday as well
wuxuu rabaa inuu guursado naag
waba uu guursado but there's already tensions in the family caynka
what's the tension that he's not full Somali
ha caynka cidda abiisna away ay joogaan and stuff like that
majority his dad is Mauritanian his mom is Somali
abisna ilaa naxariisto asugu yar buu dhintay Allah yarxam raxmi
ilaa naxariisto is he married already or not yet?
I think he is but we're trying to give him advice he's 21 no sheegin walaal waxaan say before intan gashid for ciyaal confused gareysay wadan you in a xidhiidhiyo we're just trying to give him all type of advice but seeing as you're a married man with 3 kids what would be your sort of thing
the family gabadha is important man especially a girl like marka ka guursanaysid ninka you can be a rebel but gabadha is different man especially when the family are already asking questions like this I'm not saying run away or not but do think hard and deep before making that step because you don't want no if there's problems now imagine when you get married and you guys have problems which are definitely bound to happen at some point in your marriage inshallah when you do get married and yeah man marriage I don't know man in-laws are it's kind of a sensitive topic man for me I think for anyone who's been married or who's currently married in-laws are either a problem or a blessing but I don't know man never had no issue with my in-laws
what would you say if from the beginning it's been tense and there's already identity issues what would you be your sort of advice as an older brother to our younger brother
is it a straight like where's your dad or well, what's the issue
I don't know there's been multiple sort of things
from
what we gathered his name's Abdurrahman
Abdurrahman 97 okay what's the problem like because you came here you have an issue with gabadha family kega already the main issue is ayaa tahay
right ما حدها علي أجنبي شفت علي قبيل ما هستت إحساس عباس أستها so that's generally the problem but it's the thing
no عادي like you explained your situation to them
yeah I explained it and then it concluded the dad of course he said he's not gonna say no for example he can let the door marry etc but it's just that they're gonna maybe like treat her like they're not gonna treat our kids the same like there's already like tension or enmity like because
so they blatantly told you or your future wife that they're not gonna treat her kids or your potential kids the same as they would
no they told my future wife
that they were not going to treat your kids the same as the full Somali ones. That's stupid, man. I mean, I'm assuming they're not really educated. Because why would you treat kids different? No, but I'm not saying it's not. Everyone has a choice. What I'm saying is, if you're talking about innocent children, on this planet, I would respect them more if he said, I'm not going to treat my daughter the same. But for you to say that I'm not going to treat my grandkids the same, it's just stupidity.
Because the kids are not part of his bloodline, but the daughter is.
Forget all that. Who's made a mistake? The kids did not pledge any allegiance to any culture or anything. They're not even born yet. Yeah, but when they are born, no one.
He acted like he said he's gonna threaten the kids. He just said he's not gonna.
He's not gonna treat them the same. But why? My thing is, why can't he say that to the daughter? No, but why is he not saying that to the daughter, who's the one who rebelled or went a different direction?
Went against.
Shouldn't she be the one held accountable for it? Not some innocent kids.
No. The parents.
So the kids are going to be held accountable, huh?
I mean, no, she should be, bro. You can't be held accountable for your choices. Like you just. I mean, you can't. But this is this is a weird way of being like she chose to marry out. That's her choice.
Yeah.
Right. So you can't do anything about that. But the parents said, okay, we're gonna allow it. but this and this is gonna happen. There's exceptions.
We're
Like, I
gonna
don't know
allow
why
it. We're gonna
people go.
threaten you
I don't know
and
why
your
people
future
always try to go
kids.
for Somali parents. Like, we don't know who they are, bro. Like,
No, but
I
my
had
thing is
my mom,
simple.
bro.
Look, really. My thing is simple. If you have a problem with who your daughter is gonna marry, state the problem there and then. Don't be fake and say, "Oh yeah, we're gonna allow it." Yeah, but don't worry. At some point in your future, your kids are gonna get it. They won't get the love that anyone. It's stupid, man. Tell your daughter, don't marry this guy. Simple. If you have a problem with her marrying someone who is, in the same situation as the brother is, simple. Why go around the bush? Tell me.
I mean, I don't know, but at the same time, I don't see nothing wrong with it. You know what I mean? This is just
You don't see nothing wrong with some innocent kids being treated differently.
I mean, you're acting like it's maybe negative. I don't think it. I think
Of
it's
course,
just
it's negative.
no. I think
What
it's
do your
just that
grandkids have to
you're
do
not gonna give
anything?
them the same privileges as the full-blooded ones. That's what I'm trying to say.
What
Meaning,
privilege is
they,
that? The love?
me sleeping over at the
Only love?
house. Getting the
Huh?
cooked food. You know what I mean? Being babysat when they're busy, when the parents are busy. That sort of
Yeah,
thing.
but who are they punishing? Are they punishing the children, or they're punishing the daughter?
Both.
Really?
That's what I think. I mean, the kids are not
Come
getting
on,
punished
man.
at all. They're just not
Come
getting
on, bro.
full access to their grandparents. I
Come
don't
on,
know
man.
who.
Listen, if I have a problem with you, I have a problem with you, not your kids or your grandkids. Simple.
I mean, but
Right?
like you acting as if there's you're gonna like there's a solution for this. Like the
No,
parents don't wanna
clearly they have a problem. Listen, clearly they have a problem with the girl marrying in a yeah.
Bro, this
But they're
happened.
not telling. Look, they're not telling her directly. Yeah, they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna punish your kids at some point. Don't worry, we won't give them the same love. It's stupid, and you know it's stupid. You're just trying to
No. Look.
you're
I
trying
can
to
give you an
correct something
example. No.
that's
Listen. No, look. I can give you an example. Many people that dates outside their culture and races go through that same exact thing where they don't get access to the grandparents. It happens all the time, Mahmoud. You're playing victim and you're playing out. You make it seem like this is a weird circumstance. This happens all the time, especially
I'm not
mixed
saying it
like
doesn't,
black
but
and white.
what does not
Where the
make it
white
right because
parents
it happens all the time.
Yeah, no, because the white parents say, "Oh, I'm not associating with the half breeds." That's how they think. That's how they move. It's life. People don't, but people, you know what it is. You're not
Okay,
giving up.
it
Let me
happens,
finish.
but is it
Let me
right?
finish.
Yes or no?
No, but hold up. You're not giving up the due diligence. The parents allowed this. They allowed this to happen, but they did it on their own terms. Meaning, I don't want to play. I don't want to be around your kids. And now you're saying, "Oh, innocent kids." It doesn't matter. The kids
No,
were
but
made. The
okay,
kids were
who
created
made the
out.
error?
No,
Who
let
made
me
the
finish.
error?
The kids were created out of with no blessing of the parents. No, it's slight
If
disapproval.
that's the
They
case, the
accept.
whole marriage
No,
is not gonna last then, right? If we're going by the blessings and
bro, I said
everything.
the
Let's
same
be honest.
thing too. I said the same thing yesterday, but
No,
everybody.
if you're going by that, let's just say, look, I haven't given you the blessing, but that's in my opinion, yeah. If they're gonna go that route, go all the way. No half measures, full measures. Go all the way. Don't
I
don't
mean,
say, "Oh, I'm gonna let you
marriage.
marry this guy." No,
Yeah, but
2 seconds. I'm
I
gonna let
don't
you marry
know.
this guy, but your grandkids, by the way, who inshallah one day were born, I'm not gonna give them the same privileges and the same love, the same everything. It's just
Okay,
stupid,
let
man.
me
And
ask you this.
you know it's stupid. You're just being silly now, man.
I'm not being silly
Khalid, am
at
I
all.
right?
I really don't think it's
I
stupid. Like,
don't think not you or grandkids ممكن اللي ما هي معدن منا عيان العيال خذوا
No,
بنتهم كذا.
man, ayan. But if they did, I'm saying hypothetically, I know they want man ayan, bro. I've been around long enough to know that trust me, the love between grandparents and grandkids is different, man. What I'm saying is, yeah, if they would to go that route, yeah, I'm saying, wouldn't it be better if they just punish the daughter, tell her daughter there and then, ninkan مرة بنينا راعديد حقاقة فردي دار بتينا راعديد خط كينا ودم بكبح. Yes or no? Wouldn't that be I think I'm more straightforward. I would just go that route straight. Why am I going to say, okay, I'm going to let you marry this guy, but in the next few years, when you do have kids, those kids won't be welcome, and I'm not going to love them the same as my other grandkids. It's stupid, man. Either those parents are a bit funny, but I don't know, man. I think it's just dumb. And really trying to correct something that's stupid, and you know it's stupid.
See, you're not making sense, bro. We're talking in a.
You're not making sense.
Anyone's
got the right. Anyone's got the right to do whatever they want to do. I'm a decent task. Like what I'm saying is, if my daughter's gonna make the mistake, why can't I just tell them there and then?
Okay, let me give you.
Don't marry this guy. And if you marry this guy, me and you are done. Simple.
Okay, so that means you won't see the grandkids then.
If I'm going that route, yes, I'm gonna go all the way. I'm not gonna go
doing the same
half-hard.
thing. It's the exact same thing. They're basically saying we're gonna allow this marriage to happen, but we're not. So you're basically saying don't see the grandkids at all. Don't.
No,
That's what you're
No,
saying.
listen.
Yeah.
If the father disagrees with the marriage, he can't marry him. There's
Exactly.
no
That's
marriage.
what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like, but this is the funny thing. He's saying you can marry this guy, no problem, no problem. Yeah, but your grandkids in the future, me and your grandkids are not gonna be cool.
Clearly, there is a
In short
problem.
words, that's what you're saying.
But
Huh?
yeah, but clearly there is a problem if he doesn't want to. He doesn't f with the grandkids. But this situation happens a lot in different cultural groups in their marriages. It happens a lot.
Brother, it happened to my sister. I know all about this. But what I'm saying, the father is in the wrong because if he's saying don't marry this guy, just say don't marry this guy. Why you gotta go all the way around the bush and say, oh, your grandkids are not gonna get the same love? But it's okay, you can marry this guy, and I'm gonna give. I'll give you away. Don't worry. You can marry him, but your grandkids, me and them are not cool. But the marriage is cool. You guys can. I'm gonna go to nikah. I'm gonna give you away. I'll do everything properly, and I'm gonna give you the blessing. But your grandkids, me and them, oh, you get no tala. Come on, man. That's basically what it is.
Really, and another thing in Islam, Islamic and culture and law, if the father disagrees with the marriage, he can't marry him, basically. So like what he's saying is if the father said marry her, if the father said you can marry him, what's the issue? Basically,
All I'm saying is this.
I mean, he's saying
that's what I'm saying. Why the grandkids?
Yeah, if the father.
You see, this is delusional though. There's countless of stories where women went against their walis or went against whatever.
Fuck the stories we're talking about. Is it right? There can be millions of stories.
Bro,
Is it right? Does that make it right?
There's no such thing, bro. That's subjective, bro. You know what I mean? Like,
Okay, so you think it's right? No problem. Just say it. Just say it out loud. It's cool, man.
I don't think it's
I'm not
right.
gonna judge you for it.
Actually, bro, I don't really care, bro. Like, to be like, I support parents doing what they want to do. Like, if my mom says I don't support you dating this white girl, and I say fuck it, I'm gonna do it. I'm not gonna get mad at my mom, as it is what it is. I know we're in life. She taught me not to marry foreigners. She raised me. She didn't breastfeed me, raise me this man that I am today for me to just sell my seed. That's what I'm saying. I as a man, we make our choices. We invest in our
Bro,
females.
you're changing the subject
what I mean?
now, man.
No,
The
I'm not
point.
changing.
It was a
It's the same
simple
thing,
point.
bro. It's the same thing. I'm trying to get at this. Like, it's who cares, bro? Like, you making it seem like, oh, the kids are innocent. Who cares, bro? Kids
No,
die.
forget the innocent, because I know you're gonna take the keyword and keep using it. Forget the innocent part. I'm saying my daughter, who's my daughter, yeah, I've raised her, whatever. She's marrying a guy who I'm not happy with. Am I gonna give her away, or am I gonna tell her I'm not happy?
Okay, but what if she still does it? What now?
Then that's fine. But what I'm saying is go all the way. Just say, look, I don't want you to marry this guy. If you marry this guy, me and you go separate ways, and we're done. But the guy is saying, okay, I'm gonna give you away, no problem. I'll give you my blessing. But those grandkids, me and them, we're not high. Those grandkids have nothing to do with you. The only person who's got something to do with you between you and the couple, it's your daughter. Am I correct? So why not tell her straight away, don't marry this guy, and if you disobey me and you go separate ways. Khalas.
Yeah, you're right with that. But
you know what I'm saying? Like, why the
I
grandkids is unnecessary.
agree with that, but at the same time, I agree with that. But at the same time, the point is that's not the circumstance. This is the circumstance.
But you're missing. You keep missing the point. Look, really.
I know exactly what you're saying. I understand and I agree. But in this situation,
Why bring the talks about the grandkids? That's what bothers me. Like, you got some mental health issues. Why can't you confront the problem that's in front of you? Why you gotta go 2-3 feet people behind you? What behind the person that's in front of you? Why? Confront your daughter. Say, look, I don't want you to marry this guy because this and that, and then deal with it there.
They probably did.
Come on, man.
They probably did. They probably didn't want.
No, but the brother clearly said, yeah, no, I'm gonna give you away, yeah, to his daughter, but your grandkids and me, we ain't cool. I'm not gonna treat them the same. That's basically what he said in short.
Yeah, you're right.
So
Turkey. You should have went cold turkey.
Yeah, just why not go all the way? I don't know why this shit chat about some innocent kids who got nothing to do with you.
But it's still his daughter too. You know, sometimes parents want to keep in contact with their kids because they invest.
Bro, but I love my daughter. I can't even imagine that shit happening, bro. But what I'm saying is, I'll go all the way. If I'm going that route, I'm going all the way. I'm not gonna go say, oh yeah, you can marry this guy, but why this shit? I don't want to see them. Stupid, you're coward basically. You're too coward to confront your daughter and say, look, what you're doing is wrong. Boom, boom, boom. Maybe he's afraid to lose his daughter. That's why he's saying, oh, that's why he's showing his displeasure by saying, oh, your grandkids. I mean, your kids. I know, maybe that's gonna like turn her away. Come on, man.
Damn, man. That's why a lot of people gotta invest in their daughters, man. Damn, they give.
It's natural, man. It's natural.
Give a lot of niggas stress, you know. Dad, I met a man. Oh, cool.
I know,
His
man.
name is James. Ah.
Nah. We're working hard to get away from that scenario, inshallah, man. You know.
Somalis hate foreigners in the house because it makes them so uncomfortable. You know, once they see their own, they're more comfortable. You know, I think that's what it is too. Because I can't see Somali families interacting with foreign families. It doesn't. It just doesn't work.
I've seen it, man. It's awkward, man.
It's
My
exactly,
brother-in-law,
that's what I'm
he's
saying.
going out with some Asian and Irish girl. Yeah, she came to the house one time, and I forget the awkwardness was just next level, man. And she's talking, yeah. It's just it's especially with parents. They were just staring at her like
you and your father-in-law just talking and they go, your father calling, I need your help. Can you imagine a Somali a dad asking a foreigner for help? You know he's not calling that, man. You know.
But say, but listen, say if that foreigner, look, as a Muslim, say if he's a decent Muslim brother that loves Islam, loves the family, and the father loves the son, and he phones him. I feel like sometimes you forget. Sometimes I feel like, look, at the same time, look, we live in the diaspora, yeah. Like I say to myself, first, yeah, Somali, if it's not Muslim, and say if the guy's a decent Muslim brother, innit, God-fearing, cares, and actually loves the father-in-law, loves the family, and he wants to help out. Really, why you always have to look at the negative? Oh, imagine you have to, but say if that's his son-in-law.
It's not negative. That's just, I see, bro. Okay, I can't imagine even seeing like I've never heard of Somalis engaging with foreigners like that, with like the family members. Like,
but sorry, I hate to be rude, yeah. I hate to be rude. 2 of your aunties were married to foreigners, right? You've even said that on the platform.
No, I didn't say that. I said they were dated. I said they dated, and then they left them. They couldn't work. I told it couldn't work out. I was young at the time. None of them ever married them. They're still single and childless. So they never even got married. One married, and then they divorced in like a year later and a half later. You know what I mean? It didn't even work out. Just nothing happened.
So he was a Achinabi.
Yeah, he was a native and white.
He was native and white. How was your family interaction? Maybe this explains a lot of why you're so anti this.
No. It's not. This explains none of that, bro. Nice try. That time the guy was cool. Me and the guy were cool. I was a kid at that time. I wasn't thinking the way I'm thinking. He's so behind my mentality. That doesn't exist. These are just women doing what women do, right? And then it didn't work out. Yayo was like, they had to hide a lot. Even one time, there's just a few stories, bro. They had to hide one of the guys. My auntie was there because Yayo would have a heart attack. And the father was dead too. Allah he died. He wouldn't tolerate that. He was a sheikh. He was a Sufi sheikh. You know, he died. You know what I mean? And so a lot of this infiltrated, but even then it didn't work out. You know what I mean? My mom and my other auntie married Somalis, and my 2 uncles married Somalis. There's only 4. The rest non-married. But even then, like that's what I'm saying. It doesn't work out because there's no compatibility. Somalis are hard to integrate when you're a foreigner with life. It's only these new generation Somalis who sacrifice Somali Nimo to the fullest for their Ajnabi partners because they're not Somali themselves. Culturally, they're more Western. You know, they're associated with the enemy. But for the old generation, the ones that grew up back home and had that, for them, it's in their blood. Most of my aunties were raised. They came here. They're all raised back home. They came here like 91 or 89, something like that. They came here before I was born. I was born in 95. But yeah, like I said, bro, fam, I don't know what you mean, Khaled, because you just said you want your daughter to marry Somali, but it doesn't. That's the issue. You guys use Islam as a stick, bro. If a person wants to marry out, go ahead. I'm not. See, that's where you guys construe me. This whole argument was keeping identity.
No, but look, yeah.
You know what I mean?
I've never been against any. Look, I've never been against anyone marrying anyone. I've been looking at us. It's between them and their future. But your problem is you're always blaming the kids. Or the kid's half-breed. No. Look, you're saying the kid, any half-breed child. You're the guess. Look at it. You said any half-breed who comes my way or my land, he's not welcome. Mine?
Facts.
No problem. No, but that's fine. You have the right to say that, man. Of course, limited. Like I think he's just taking things personal because mixed. There's nations literally who have mixed. The whole country is just mixed. And they still have a nation.
Look what they are.
So they're better than us. Come on, bro.
Look at Brazil. Look at Brazil. For example.
Look at Cape Verde. Look at Seychelles. There's so many countries, bro. Yeah, but forget race. Otherwise, I just think
you need to stop looking at everything through a race lens sometimes.
So my look, yeah,
bro. This the hypocrite. 2 men that said I'd rather my kids marry my own, but then when it comes
who said that?
Bro, I
said that. I said that. What did I say? I'll say this. Look, I'll say it with my chest in it. Yeah.
So what is the
I would prefer this, but if it's not that, because look, this is what I prefer. But in $100, and she comes up with me and says, bro, I know Nick and Antonio, one chalade, one Muslim. Hell no, Udi, I would never stand in the way of that. That's haram alayk in my eyes. In my eyes, that's haram. I'll say, well, I'll say to my daughter, bro, you got my
هو
blessings.
حرام بين الدين قفت الدين الدين ودين.
For me, it's haram. As a Muslim, I'm looking at it as a Muslim first. I remember, I keep telling you, I'm a Muslim first, then I'm a Somali.
I'm the
not the other way
opposite.
around. This is how I look at things. I'm going to be like, okay, and I want it that way. It didn't happen. This is my choice. It's her life as well, yeah. So if she's found someone decent or Muslim, what can I say? Sorry, guys. 1 second.
Yeah,
The
but
thing about really is he doesn't know yet. Yeah,
don't come for me.
And
if
you I think you're a bit too young,
I don't care. It's not about young, bro. You see, that's the issue, bro. I stand on my point, bro. Like, don't come at me and say you want your kid, huh?
No, I never said I want my kids to. I want my kids. And bro, don't even start with me, man. What I'm saying is, you're very I wouldn't say narrow-minded, but you're very one way with
That's
how
how
you
life
even
is.
look at things. Yeah, for some people, yeah, it is, yeah. But to be honest, you need to open your brains
Bro,
up,
I'm
man, a
not
little bit.
opening nothing, man.
You know what I'm saying?
See, that's the issue with you, man. I'm not delusional like you.
So what's
you know what I
Somali to you? Ishak, please. Let's just
Bro, it's bloodline.
go bit by bit.
Bro. So you're telling me, okay, you
what's bloodline gonna do for you?
Everything. It's gonna make me
like what? Like what?
Everything, bro. What do you mean?
Give me an example.
What example do you? Okay, you know what bloodline's
No,
gonna do? It's gonna preserve the homogeneous phenotype and genetics that I want to pass on in my
which country?
community, my people. What do you mean? Where I'm from?
No, I'm just saying because obviously we're the minority in these countries. But you want to, I can understand if you want.
People like you annoy me because you didn't hear what I said. I never claimed to claim. Let me finish then. I never claimed to keep this BS like these other guys say, oh, marry within your community. I don't give a crap. I'm keeping the identity. Listen, open your ears up right now. Last time, identity. I'm gatekeeping that. I'm gatekeeping what it is to be Somali. I don't care who you marry, what you do, but don't come to me look at me in my eyes and tell me that you're Somali. You're not riding up for your country. If they say, oh, we need troops on the battlefield and we have no choice but to go, I don't have any other thing to claim. So of course I'm gonna be very protectionist of that.
You've got no other choice but to claim what you're claiming anyway.
Exactly.
So the point I'm making to you is Somali heaven. What are you planning on doing with it, other than letting your kids know what you are?
Bro, I'm trying to help bro. We already spoke about this 1,000 times.
I never spoke to you about this, bro.
Yeah, we did. Every time it's part of the nationalist agenda, fam. That's what it is. You can't be a nationalist.
Okay, nationalist. Okay, let's take a step by step. Nationalist, right? Nationalism, I believe, starts back home. Right?
Look at here too.
What can we do here? We're immigrants. We're refugees.
You can start the idea here in the vision and take it back home too.
Fair enough. As long as you have the idea and the plan and the vision of going back home. Because if you go back home right now, they won't even take you serious.
See, that's the shit that everyone says.
No.
Listen, guys. You know what it is. Somali waxay ku mahmaa oroska ma lagu raago ma laga raago. So you already know what time it is.